Here we go. We're live! We're live! I see us! Let's go! Yes, it's working.
The genuine excitement, like just Babby's first stream, yeah.
Josh, you're muted. You're muted.
Is he actually?
You're muted.
This
Christ.
close to getting it
We
right.
were so close.
Oh my god.
It's tragedy off the jump.
Dude, I don't even, oh my goodness.
See, this is exactly why I said in the Discord that the title of the episode needs to be Sideshow is producing this episode.
Oh my
This is
god.
exactly why.
I didn't have my mic even set as an input in the audio channels, and it wasn't going the whole time, and I could have just looked at the audio levels and seen that there was no audio level when I was speaking.
You were giving Wyatt so much stick. Like, your mic is too quiet, and you don't have one.
No, I think I've fixed the audio levels. I mean, I'm definitely not muted anymore. I think I've fixed Wyatt's audio levels, and I think we're live.
You've actually surpassed Connor Prince in just audio idiocy, which is shocking and a feat in itself, really.
Yeah, it's more impressive than anything.
I can't wait for the audio episode to just be just live with nothing for
Just
like
no
30
sound.
seconds.
Just absolutely no sound. I mean, we're going to have 0 views on Spotify this week. People are going to tune in. They're going like, oh, well, Plat just decided not to record. It's just 2 hours of no noise whatsoever. An elaborate troll.
You could probably like just go back and record the audio over you talking, like it's some sort of like.
Oh, we should dub it.
What's the dub your own voice over yourself.
What a great idea. I mean, the story that I was trying to tell was that the very first video we put on the Plat Overwatch channel when we first started the podcast was the same experience there where we were just excited to be live, didn't know whether we were live, and probably messed up a bunch of stuff. Bren didn't even turn up, so we were using a JPEG image of Bren instead of actually having Bren on the show. But this week, anyway, let me get to my actual hosting duties. Welcome to episode 156. I've got Wyatt, Ryan, and Arden with me. Going to be talking game changers, China, some of the other things that are happening around the scene too. But I am in control this week. I am in the production role. Anything that goes wrong is my fault. It's not Kurt's. It's not anybody else's fault. But I do also have some changes to make around here.
You have changes to make? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've got changes
Sheriff Wilkinson has come to town.
Yeah,
Kurt
can't
I was
stop
going
me
to ask
anymore.
whether you were in control, and then you actually are going to just put the law down. Okay.
What
Yeah,
changes
so-
are you making, Josh?
Well, I've got my
Am
own...
I finally getting paid more?
No.
You guys are getting paid?
Oh my.
Don't tell Ryan. Don't tell Ryan. No, what I've decided to do is I'm implementing a new segment later on. Now, it doesn't have any assets because Kurt's not here, and Kurt's the person who makes things look good. But, you know, we'll have some kind of new segment later. And I've decided to change everybody's lower third. I'm not going by Sideshow, I'm going by Josh. I mean, we're all friends here, aren't we? You know, can't we all just use our first names?
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Wait, what do you mean? Because you go by Wyatt anyway. So.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it because I saw my name and Ryan's name, so I just didn't even notice.
Have you noticed that
is
my social has changed as well?
what? It's no longer Sideshow Casts.
Did you
or whatever?
pay for verification on Twitter to do that?
No, I'm changing it. Down with Twitter, down with X. We're going towards Twitch handles from now on.
Can you change mine back to X? I don't stream.
No,
Okay.
I'm afraid not. We're
Dude, that looks so stupid.
You link to my
Use your
friend account.
What? This is
what I use
this
nowadays.
is outrageous shilling.
Come on, bro.
What the? I almost swore, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no
that's,
demonetization.
That's crazy. The richest man working in VALORANT using his community platform to get more money. Dude, Scrooge McJosh over here is
It's
out
Christmas.
That's what
Well,
happens
like,
when you put me
could've-
in power. Don't ever put me in a position of power. What have you lot been getting up to this week?
I'm moving. And that's taken up all my time. And I was helping Bren move yesterday. And then we got a couple beverages late at night, little treat
Just
to
another
ourselves.
bender. Let's go.
No, we did. We just had.
Unbelievable.
It's my favorite time of the year for drinking alcohol, which is when it's cold and you can get hot drinks. So we had a couple. We couldn't make it in time, Josh,
Hot
but we
toddies.
wanted to go to the place where they have those. You remember, like the sake hot cider.
Outrageously
drinks
good drinks.
Yeah, but we couldn't make it there in time. So
Sounds nice.
we went to the Christmas bar where we met that one psychopath that one time. But you weren't there, I think. Were you?
Oh, I don't know. I've met many crazy people there, but
I think it might have just
Maybe
been
not that
Bren. No, it was
It was
there.
just Bren.
It
Bren
was,
was the
no.
psychopath.
I think we've told the story on Plat Chat before. It was the dude that it was after a co-stream. It was you, Connor, me, and Bren, and we all independently came to the conclusions that we needed to escape the building.
yes.
Because he was unhinged. And
Yeah, he
then
was.
we
we were talking
went
to his
there.
partner and his partner's friend, and I think he thought that we were just risen her up and gonna run off with her or something, and he was 2 steps away from stabbing us, I think. Well, shooting us probably isn't it, because we were in Texas.
Because what? Because what?
in Texas.
Because we're in America. Because we're in America.
Okay. Gee, I thought you were gonna say something else.
Josh being optimistic.
But yeah, no. So we went there, and I'm just moving. That's just taking up all my time. We're leaving the compound behind.
That's
That's
tragic,
so
isn't it?
sad.
The
Are you gonna
compound
leave
will
the
always
camera?
be immortalized. In the
Yeah,
the camera's just permanently going to be here.
We're leaving the camera so it can be in the back. Yeah, we've given the tenants $100 a month off their rent to just leave the setup in the living room.
If it, we'll see like the plant slowly die in the corner over there, and we'll see things just fall off the wall slowly over time as it falls into disrepair.
Yes, those plants are real.
That
Yep.
would be sick.
Yep.
We will not break the illusion.
Can I tell you something tragic that's happened to me this week that relates to
Yes.
somebody else in the Valorant community? Now,
No, that sounds so.
What happened,
no.
Josh?
no, it wasn't depressing. It was psychologically damaging. It was horrendous. Yeah. Now, you know when you hear occasionally of like beef within the casting community in certain games, and like certain caster pairs are going after other caster pairs. Me and Bren got targeted this week by Pansy and Hypoc. They catfished us in DayZ for a week. They were stalking us in DayZ for a week using voice changers, calling themselves Jessica and Jackson, running after us and freaking us out. We were playing with
Oh my
Jaws
God.
and Custer, and they went on a grand reveal at the end after everybody had died. And like you know, in a horror movie where someone would like pull off their face and it would be someone else but underneath it, or in Scooby-Doo where they whip it off and it's like it's been Hypoc all along. Hypoc had a voice changer on pretending to be a girl called Jessica, role playing the whole time.
Wait, so there were Jessica Jackson and
Pansy was using
Jackson?
a man's voice changer as well. We knew that the woman Jessica was using a voice changer, and we were like, "This is a really weird role player. Like this person's a bit unhinged." And then we didn't even think that Pansy was using a voice changer. We just thought it was a man playing DayZ. It was so insanely. It actually has twisted my brain, and I couldn't sleep for the last few days.
What do you mean by catfish, though? As in, like, they led you along?
Like, were you like
For a
getting,
long time.
getting rizzed up,
Yeah.
or
No,
I mean, yeah, were you about to
scared.
meet up with them?
you're about to send some photos?
in Wales? Oh.
I was, yeah. I've got some Discord logs to get rid of where Jessica's received some. Anyway,
Don't worry,
move along.
Hypoc has already screenshotted it all.
yeah, I'm sure
I
he
think
has.
Pansy's like, because I saw Pansy like asking for like an editor, so I think that they've like got clips from the other side that they're about to.
Oh, they definitely
I
do.
can't wait to. I've heard about this saga going on, and I'm not watching any of it so that I can watch the edited YouTube videos down the line because it sounds so good.
It's absolutely horrendous what's happening. Okay, so moving on to our first Valorant topic, though. I wanted to showcase this video to start off with, and this is going to be on my first chance.
You're gonna play a video.
Look at this. Look at this
Wow,
video
well
that's
done.
currently playing. Now,
Well
did you
done.
guys all see this video?
I saw
No.
it after the fact.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, nobody saw it at the time because nobody follows
Because it's not one of
EG's
the posted
YouTube.
EG's YouTube channel, exactly.
This is an EG video?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And also,
I'm surprised.
if I scroll down, this is from 3 months
I'm not
ago.
g-
It has
I'm not gonna
26,000
say it.
views. But this was this was their run up to champions. And basically what they're saying is to give you guys the I guess I could put on the closed captions actually, couldn't I? That'd be nuts.
That's a risk.
What an evolution.
Wow.
They're talking about
that.
canon events. Is this something from a Spider-Man movie or something?
Yeah. It's also not just after Spider-Verse has been out. Like Spider-Verse has been out a while, and then they decide to make the meme. So even when they're trying to make a topical meme, they're still doing it wrong.
Well,
So,
I mean,
that's a typical EG thing.
at the very least, the entire community was like,
Yeah.
we're all like, oh, it's a canon event type thing. Like it
I think-
makes sense in the community.
I think it makes sense. If you have a chance to listen to this with audio, I can't play it with audio because I don't have a setup to do that. But that's where the technology stops, I'm afraid. But you will listen to some of the most inspiring performances in dramatic history. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some amazing things. And anyway, the point of this being that Ethan's talking about the fact that the entire universe is going to collapse if they win Champions. And this was before Champions. And this is EG, the eradication of existence as their organization is rumored to be falling apart at the seams and potentially evacuating the entire esports space.
Oh my God.
They warned us.
It's so funny. The line that Ethan says too is so funny. No matter what you do, don't win champions, or else you'll doom this reality to a fate you can't even imagine.
That's so funny.
I can't believe how prophetic it is. It's insane.
Yeah, truly absurd. But let's talk about the tournament that's happening at the moment. Then, so Game Changers Championships currently going on, and there were some matches that were played yesterday. In fact, as the smartest people in the world, our YouTube community have noted, yes, we are going to end up running into the first game from today as well, which is EDG playing against Shopify Rebellion. Now, I'm not very up on the Game Changers scene. Just at the beginning, how competitive is that game supposed to be that starts in about an hour from now?
Not competitive.
Not competitive.
No.
It's the favorites
EDG are
against.
missing their star player because they're having open heart surgery, so they're not allowed to fly.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I think it's that at least.
I think
so, yeah,
they
they're
had
missing, like, a
surgery and they
big
can't
player.
fly anymore. Like,
Wow.
because it's too big of a risk or something like
Yeah. So that and I mean also I think regardless, this would be probably the biggest skill disparity game anyhow,
Right.
at least on paper. So it's I mean Frank, both games today, at least just, at face value, shouldn't be particularly close affairs.
So we're not
I mean-
stealing the community of any incredibly close game. You can watch the VODs perhaps, or you can watch the VODs of us.
Yeah.
We get saved to YouTube just the same. But I do want to start by talking about this game where the most ridiculous thing appears to have happened. Where SMG accidentally locked 4 duelists thinking that it was a warm-up game because it's their first time on LAN and just beat the piss out of EG. They won 13-3 on Lotus.
Oh my God.
I love that EG stuff is like their existence is unraveling now into their Game Changers team. Like the 13-0 score for EG winning champs has now gone over to Quad Duelist being the meta that everybody's now going to be using. So for me, it's just EG just caught in the crossfire overall.
Yeah. So what the story is actually like, they thought it was a ping test, and it makes sense to me because they lock in their, like on international lands, they lock in their agents and then they walk off stage and they go whatever, they get ready, they do their whatever, and then they walk onto the stage, they do the reveal, and then they sit down, and then they assume that they're going to pick their agents because that's how it works for the rest of the maps. But they just thought it was a ping test, so they locked in. I mean, the comp itself is crazy. They have their star duelist on Cypher, and everybody else is playing another duelist, and they shit on them. I mean, absolutely just wrecked any mental. I didn't even watch the second game because I just knew it was over. You can't come back from this. This is you
like
rage quitting
Exodia,
off
yeah.
of stream. Like if you played this again in ranked or something like that, and you lost. And it happens all the time, but like not at a professional level because you should be able to figure it out. All right. I feel like you should be able to figure out how to beat a comp like this, but it was not easy at all with the amount of stuff they were throwing out. Wyatt, you were spitting facts last week.
Dude,
good.
This has made me even more excited about SMG because what I was saying last week, and why I was really excited to watch them coming into this, and that we're going to go deep. They were my dark horse pick for the tournament. Was that a lot of times when you watch a team that's smoking their region and just, beating everybody undefeated, similar to Crew, oftentimes it's just because the skill level individually is so much higher than the other teams. Like, you amass the top talent players on one team and they kind of just bang everybody out. But SMG, that just wasn't the case for them at all. They clearly, obviously they had individual talent and have it, but what was impressing me and what was taking them over the top and why I was excited was because their actual team play was so good. They were, compared to really all of the other teams that I was watching, I felt like on the attack sides, they were reacting to what the defensive side was doing it perfectly, time and time again. The IGLing, the calling from Kohibi, and how they were reacting to things was so good, and I was really just so impressed. And then this has made me more excited because they locked 4 duelists, ran it down, and just it's like my one concern was maybe their individual skill won't be able to match up against Shopify or like BBL Queens. And despite being great with team play, at the end of the day, Bren FPS rant, right? But watching this, and then they go to Haven, and it's what I was seeing online. Like, they go to attack, and they just win every round. They're responding to everything that EG are doing on defense perfectly. And, like, they are fucking doing it. They're going to... I already had them... I mean, my pick'em for this tournament is unhinged, but I have so much SMG belief, and I have even more of it. So I am very excited to see them make it all the way to at least the upper bracket final here.
Wait, so would that require...
Yes, it would require them beating G2, which is they're going to do in their next game.
Which is today, by the way.
Yeah, it's later tonight for us.
Wait, that one's today?
Yeah, it's a
best of 3 day.
Yep.
Oh, it's a 3-match day? Remember, how many times... Guys, we're gonna start cutting down on the 3-match day.
I feel like we've got more. They've said that for years.
Christ almighty. Dude, if the 3-match days are like 14 hours of work. Like,
yeah,
the listeners at home don't know what occurs on the 3-match days, and it's just the marathon, but I digress.
It's even worse for the playing games for China. 4 best of 3s a day. Like they had talent. Yeah, it was starting at like 4 a.m.
I know.
It's like we're going the wrong direction.
The CS heads are fucking laughing at us right now with their fucking 8 best of 1s or whatever in one day with all their on like 4 streams at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
but all right, cool. So we get to watch them beat G2 later today. I'm excited to watch that.
Is that actually... I mean, G2... Again, I'm coming at this from a layman's POV, just following the bigger stories, but G2 are not expected to be massive hitters in this tournament, right? Because they recently made some roster changes, lost some of their best players, and EG as well had lost a star player heading into this tournament.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, EG lost their best player.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Minnie was saying yesterday, last week.
The thing about G2 is I think a lot of people they say that on paper, but they also G2 won last year when a lot of people were also kind of like, well, me especially watched their GC3 last year and said, okay, well, maybe they're not as favored as they should be. But they are so good on land. And I think the game yesterday, to me, showed that they were, especially with the role change that they made. And maybe we're moving on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's go for it.
The role change that they made worked so well, right? With Petra playing duelist, one of the most experienced players on that team, and Sarah swapping and being able to play a pretty disciplined game for a person who's never played controller in an official before. It was pretty impressive, and they handled a nice comeback attempt on both maps from Team Liquid Brazil, who were firing with the crowd behind them and everything. This was a tough game, and they made it look pretty easy in my mind. I'm happy with them. I think they've upped themselves from maybe a top 4 to contenders, actually.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't... Okay, 2 things. So all I'm going to say is I'm not super high on Liquid going into this tournament. I wasn't blown away by what they were doing online compared to some of the other teams going into it. And this game felt like it was very up in the air. Also, I'm going to abstain from any serious comment because I had to do moving things while that game was on, so I only watched the SMG one. So I'm going to abstain from any serious comments on this one.
You should look at the VRL stats. Give 30 seconds for him to look at the VLR stats, and then.
So let's see what's going on.
Okay, let's.
I mean, so at the end of the day, it's what we were saying about G2 last week, guys. When they get on land, those experienced players are gonna pop off. Mimi 28 and 17 on the sky. I mean, you're joking. 19 and 12 on the next map. It's all about the LAN experience. That's my new narrative. I watched the game, I swear. I was just kidding before.
I mean, to be fair, Mimi also started IGLing too, where it was it Glance before? I don't know. Petra before, yeah. And Mimi's calls were fantastic. Especially on the second map. They were working them. They were absolutely working them. And it was because of like inserts from Mimi, lurks from her, just finding really good timings on the rotations against Team Liquid. And some of that I would say, yeah, it's Team Liquid not playing fantastic, but they were handling them very well. And I think Mimi is a big reason for that.
So I have a bit of interest in T actually, because I did a lot of like assistant coaching stuff for Game Changers teams. So we played G2 a lot. We played BBL a lot.
Didn't you beat them in group stages?
We did. Thank you for mentioning that, Bala. I've won out.
I got
Still looking for it.
I like that.
I think I remember between stages 2 and 3 this year, because we scrimmed G2 quite a lot. There was a period where they were like, we're not scrimming any other Game Changers teams at the moment because we're changing roles. So this was back in probably like July, August time. And then when we played them again and saw them playing stage 3, they were still on the same roles. So I do wonder with the role changes of putting Petra onto the duelist and having Mimi IGL, whether that was something that they were initially wanted to go with. As soon as they got word that Mary was done with Valorant, that they were like, okay, let's move around the roles because Sarah doesn't look comfortable on duelist. It's a lot to ask for her to just outright replace Mary and hope that she can do the same sort of thing. So I think that they probably tried to pivot, but then realized we can't mess about in stage 3. We actually need to do quite well. So we'll go back to the old roles and then quickly like adjust going from stage 3 into Sao Paulo. So I think that even though it's quite a tight turnaround for them to change their roles, it still felt that they had made their mind up. Maybe they were trying other stuff, or maybe they just didn't want to scrim anybody for 2 weeks and they did an excuse. But it did feel like G2 wanted to head in that direction. And I think Sarah looked pretty decent yesterday, considering it's like her first LAN. She didn't look amazing. She wasn't tearing up, but she was winning clutches. She wasn't a problem. She wasn't detrimental to G2 when she had been a little bit in some games of stage 3 when she was on duelist.
Yeah, I would agree. And we also saw them like try Mimi on duelist back at What Have You Done?
What? Sorry, everybody else's works and yours is tiny.
Well,
you just put me in the fucking wee box.
All
right, well,
reset it. Reset.
We are never looking at art in full screen again. We're not doing that.
What the
No, try it again, Josh.
It's just going to do the same thing, bro.
Maybe it fixed it.
Why, bro? You boxed me like a fish, man. Why? You finally got revenge.
I think I know what's wrong, but it would take me a while, and it would look really dumb on screen while I finished it. While I fixed it. So
yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
No, I think it's fine. What are we at now? The tally is at 2 for Wilkinson production mess ups. That's
yeah.
Let's see how high that's gonna go. We'll continue to keep track of that. That's gonna be the through line of this entire show.
I wanted to ask you guys what the feel was on Wyatt's bold pred then, because we've talked a bit about G2 and SMG, the teams that won yesterday. And it does seem like SMG winning would be considered an upset for most people, but we haven't seen them compete against top-level competition before, have we?
Aneri came from Alter Ego Celeste, and they barely made it, or they didn't make it last year, and a lot of people were really excited about her last year, and then the rest of them are just kind of like pieces from top, like the best other SEA teams. So it's only been an SEA.
So what do you think? How much of a chance do they have here?
I don't believe yet, to be honest, but I want to because why? Because Wyatt is a good person to convince me. But I liked what I saw from G2 a lot, and SMG you can't get a good read when I'm sorry, but EG was just tilted. after they lost 5 rounds in a row against 5 duelists or 4 duelists. Like I can't get a good read there. Yes, the players are playing amazing, but I don't know if it was just EG, I don't know, being completely nervous, being completely froze out, shook to the core, or what. So when they go up against G2, a team I think has the best map theory. I know Mini said that a lot last time, but when you watch the game against Liquid as well, like especially on Lotus, they're controlling everything so well, denying all the information so well. It's difficult to see that fundamental level be beaten by SMG when they play for normal stuff, I guess. And I don't see them getting.
So they should lock 4 duelists again.
Probably, to be honest.
It could be the ultimate bait. Also, the thing about the 4 duelists that really upsets me that I think about it, usually when you're in those kind of situations where you just lock in any duelist, somebody would have locked in the ISO. We were this close, I imagine, to getting an ISO in pro play purely by accident, and that could have been like the difference aspect of it.
They probably didn't have ISO unlocked.
Yeah, just not bought, just not worried.
I mean,
same with
honestly,
Deadlock, just off on the side.
That might have popped off. I mean, they went crazy anyway, but the ISO on defense, Lotus just like firing the wall towards you know, like the A door on defense to push up, you know what I mean? You see where I'm taking this? That might have been crazy, to be honest. Oh, but yeah, SMG are going to the upper final. But yeah, obviously.
What are the maps that SMG are like good at? What do you think that they would pick? Because I was thinking about this before. I don't think G2 has like a weak map. Like they looked really bad on Haven because they were running like the Viper comp and they got destroyed by BBL like 13-4, and then they permabanned it for the rest of stage 3. But I imagine because they've changed roles and stuff now, I feel like all of G2's map pool is pretty airtight for the most part.
They also introduced Sunset like right away yesterday, which is a very good sign for like their confidence in their map pool too.
And SMG did play on Sunset one time previously during the online stage, but it wasn't against a great team, so it's kind of, you know, jury's out maybe on that one. You know, listen, obviously their Lotus is pretty good.
Yeah,
but,
the Lotus.
No, I mean, I think if they get to maps like Haven Split, like I think that's where they're gonna shine. Those were the maps that I was the most impressed with them on. The maps where you can do some serious work on the attack side, especially on Haven, where because I keep going back to it, but just compared to the other teams, the reactions on attack are fantastic, and on maps, especially on a map like Haven, 3 sites, you know, dragging people around, and the same thing with, I mean, I would imagine their Lotus will be really good too when they're playing something normal. Or maybe imagine they just stick with this comp though. That would be
they just find it out there like, oh my god, it's broken. We need to stick with it.
Yesterday when like the comp got released and all the analysts on Twitter were like, oh my god, they've been cooking. Like this is real.
I know.
There's some stuff behind it. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys smoking? they're either trolling because EG has nobody and they're just disrespecting the shit out of him, or it's just like complete, I don't know, accident. I didn't expect it to be an accident, but
that is one of the bizarrest things that we've ever seen in a tournament, I think.
For sure.
I don't remember that ever happening. I remember people accidentally locking in agents actually in big tournaments and being allowed to reset if they'd like accidentally locked something. I remember we've definitely had like a
I remember like
reset
people
for something
dodging
before.
like you would go to lock and then you dodge before the screen shows the comps on the other side. But once you show the comp, like you shouldn't be able to reset because that's
no,
that's
you're right.
I think SMG. I think that's the thing that SMG asked if they could remake, and we're like, no, because
it's the right.
You've seen
it's
their
the right ruling.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I feel like I've seen it before where it was the wrong ruling, but that doesn't mean that you should always use the wrong ruling. Obviously.
Yeah. Credit to SMG has also just been like, yeah, we fucked up. Like it's on us. I wouldn't want to be like if they had lost. They was like, yeah, we made a mistake, but we still won 13-3, so you know it's all good.
What a way to start for a team new to LAN as well. That's just any potential for nerves or anything. Like you just yeah.
No group stage, nothing. This is their first global event. They're just like, whoops.
Oopsie daisy, locked our troll comp in the match and won anyway.
It's always game changers too, because I remember Guild accidentally surrendering in a series because they did the, you know, like the timeout when it comes up, you vote for it.
Yeah.
Claudia accidentally put the surrender button, and everybody just instinctively clicked it. And of course, it was Mitch and Tom casting, because Tom just breaks down left when he sees the feet just show up on like 6-3.
That's so funny, man.
Times.
That is so funny.
It's one of my favorite, like, and of course it's Game Changers, and of course it's Claudia and Guild, because she was a player that got killed in overtime on Icebox. She got up and went for a wee, and she got stage rezzed. So she was just stunned. Like, her character was there for 40 seconds in an overtime Icebox game. Like, she's my favorite player, and I love her to pieces. But she brings the best esports moments. And I think Mitch and Tom were also cast in that game, which makes it like they're just connected to these breakdown moments.
That's so
Gotta love
funny.
Game Changers.
Okay, let's move on to the other big LAN tournament that's happening then, that's coming up fairly shortly. That I don't know whether anyone's even going to really be able to watch. It's the AfreecaTV League. It's exclusive to AfreecaTV as well. So your favorite co-streamers will have to be doing the like Overwatch League style, only showing the timer or something kind of thing if they want to be streaming it on Twitch. So you won't be able to watch it on Twitch or YouTube. But you'll have to tune into AfreecaTV.
I'm waiting for Valorant Monday on this one. That's how I'm going to be watching these games back. My king.
I mean, just do it anyways, no, Josh? What are they gonna do? AfreecaTV is gonna get involved, could be like Twitch banhammer you. Just do it anyways.
Just do it anyways. Just violate their copyright after I've already reached out to them and they've told me not to. Just ask for permission and then ask for forgiveness afterwards. That's not how the saying goes. That's wild. That's deranged what you're asking me to do there. But yeah, look at the brackets. I mean, there's some stacked matches, honestly. I think T1 EDG is a low-key banger in Group B, but there's an obvious banger in Group A, which is Sentinels playing against PaperX. And that's our first time really seeing PaperX with Monyet in a game where they're going to play it seriously, I assume. Because I think PaperX have played one show match in the offseason where they just locked 5 duelists, doing the Team SMG. And then we've seen Sentinels quite a bit in the offseason, actually, and we've seen them improving over time, too. And presumably still playing with Zelsis, because all the scrim leaks still seem to show him playing for the team.
Yeah. And we talked about that last week, but it's crazy that they're going, international event. This is Sentinel's first global tournament, or at least international tournament, other than the Americas League, since Champions 2021.
Yeah. Yeah,
so, like,
that is true.
This is huge for them.
History.
They get to use the passports. It's
Oh, no, sorry.
time.
Ludwig Tarek counts, right? With the 4 teams.
Was that international?
They had T1 there, right?
Oh, yeah, they did. They had T1. Yeah. True. Oh, that would have been such a banger of a stat.
Loophole.
I mean, I love that stat. It turns out it's a lie, but I like it. I like
Just
it.
run with it. Just confidence. Just lie outright, and everybody will be like, yep.
I want to kind of dive into these games as a pick'em later, but what's your feel of how good the match is going to be? Before we get to the pick'em side of the whole bracket, like, is this actually a banger?
No.
For Sen PaperX?
Yeah.
No, it's not a banger.
It's not a banger. PaperX are winning 2-0, but they're winning 2-0, but it's going to be close enough that it's like maybe, but not really, because it's going to be like 13-7, 13-10 PaperX. That's what I'm feeling out for this one.
I think Sentinels can beat them on Bind or Sunset potentially, and I think that if PaperX for whatever reason allows those maps in, I mean, PaperX on Bind is also a nutcase team. That would be my ideal. Is if Sentinels get Bind into the pool, but they don't get Sunset into the pool, and we just see Sentinels PaperX going at each other with the Reyna comp versus the Yoru comp, and they're flying at each other all the time. I think that'd be nuts.
They'd be the most obvious team to implement ISO, I think, too.
Yeah,
So,
PaperX.
Is this? Yeah. The Sentinels
Well,
maybe.
you're on the ISO
Depends how
train.
spicy the feeling. Yeah, I mean, I saw it from Tech. It was pretty average in China, but I think for this, is this like the first proper time that we see PaperX at an off-season event?
Yes.
And they did the show match, so I'm curious on what their vibe is going to be in this tournament. Like, I think they're going to take it somewhat seriously. I think it's a good tournament when you got DRX and even Full Sense in your group to just see how everything's feeling at the moment. But I do feel that they're still just going to be PaperX and probably troll a little bit with agent comps to try out stuff. Like I just wonder how they're going to approach it, whether they're going in full serious mode and how much community reaction. Like if Paper X go out first for whatever reason to get double eliminated, what's people's reaction going to be to that? Are people going to get instantly against Paper X, or they're going to be like, it's an off-season event, it doesn't matter?
There's no shot that Paper X go out first in this group. I mean, going down and then losing to a DRX who's been running their off-season roster. I mean, I assume that nobody really knows what roster DRX is going to be using, but they've been running Flashback and Foxy9 in all of these games, so I don't see why you would expect it to be any different. Paper X should be able to diff that version of DRX and Full Sense.
They should. The Full Sense roster isn't bad by any means.
No, it's not.
It's pretty decent, but
they did just lose to Talon.
Yeah. Listen, I'm always going to believe in Sushi Boys, but that is still such a tough group. I can't imagine Full Sense making.
I do want to take a tangent
here, but
I want to take a tangent just for a moment because I wanted to ask if any of you guys actually watched this game. It was Full Sense playing against Talon. It's like the old Full Sense, the old Talon players with some of the Full Sense players as well, playing against a new version of Talon, which has got, Governor and Ban playing for them as well, for all of the North American fans. And we saw some, I'm just scrolling through the results, and you've got some bizarre, look at the string of rounds that have been won here, and the fact that this one was just a blowout, 13-2. So, Ryan, what was going on in this game?
Yeah, I watched it this morning. Waste of time, the whole thing. I think the one thing.
All right, well, we'll move on.
No, go on. No, because I was so caught off by how Reddit reacted to Talon. It was like Talon just committed war crimes against. It was the worst thing to ever happen to Thailand since the bubonic plague or something like that. People were so mad at this team for picking up this roster because they're meant to be the Thai representative of the Pacific League and stuff like that. And then you've got Governor going over, you've got Bang, who are technically not imports because they're dual citizenship, I'm pretty sure. And then you brought in Lenny that was Singaporean from Team Secret. So you have less Thai players on your roster now, because Patipan's still on the team, but probably not going to be playing. So people were so mad. They were livid at this team. And especially with how they lost to Full Sense in the first best of 3 that they played. So I wanted to watch this one back. And I think the good thing about it is that they've got Frost as their main coach that used to be on 100 Thieves. And most people are going to know him from the whole ping hour-long debate with Wyatt about what ping they're going to play the server on. I think it was against Sentinels. That's how long ago it was. But I think that he's a good player, and just watching any of the timeouts that you see in this game, because Frost is this in the CS, stood behind him, and it's just some meme template because he's just using his hands so much talking. You watch it at 2x speed, and it's the S-fan talking to a wall clip or a buy with a whiteboard. He's just there doing this the whole time, talking to his team. It's just crazy.
When did they take a timeout? I gotta see this.
Oh,
here it is.
It genuinely is
this round.
Just great to watch. But I think for this squad, there's a lot of promise. Yeah, look at this. It's just, and it goes on. And I think he was pointing and touching Lenny, who's the one in the grey jumper, and he just looked scared for his life. I mean, nobody's making eye contact with him. They just don't look at him. Vision is based on movement.
Don't look at Frost and he'll go away.
The Furia tactic. I love it.
Yeah, actually, though. That's so funny. Oh, God. So you didn't get too much out of this, though. You weren't filled with a rejuvenation of your appreciation for Talon.
Yeah, I think Jip Boys played really well on the Sentinel role overall. I think that Lenny looked a little bit out of his depth in some areas, which makes sense because it's a new team. There were a lot of moments
I thought you were going to say it makes sense because this man is over his shoulder while he's playing.
Yeah. But I think that there was a lot of promising moments, just executes defaults. But anytime where they had to sort of think on the fly, Governor was dashing out, and a Molly would separate him from his team, so he'd dash out, he'd go down, there was no trade, a couple of clutches lost, a lot of player advantages lost. The only problems that they have is just the problems that you have with a new team, which I think some people were sort of taken too far. But I do think that there is a genuine problem that that this team is going against Thai talent to an extent. It's also, for me, so brave of Talon to kind of do this, where they're dropping Thai players for other like nationalities, and then you go into a Clash of Nations tournament against other Thai teams. Like, you're kind of just asking for it at this point.
Yeah, you really are.
So I think also it's like a lateral move. I don't think these players improve or make Talon any worse from last year.
Mate, a lateral move means that they're going to continue not winning a single match next year. It's got to be an upward move.
Yeah, that's the point. It's like, it doesn't, but I don't know.
Bring up the way too early tier list.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Genuinely.
Where is it at?
Dude, I don't have it. What, you want me to randomly find
Oh,
that
some producer we got
Scavenger.
here. I can't even pull up the world famous tier list. Huh?
I can add images to the screen if you want to see an image. I'm probably going to break the entire thing, but I can
can't wait
add.
for this.
Yeah. Let's see what images you have saved on your PC.
Yeah, okay. Let me
scrolling
let me
through
add this
See
one.
what's up.
I can add that one if you like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Look, we've got Tarek on the show.
Yeah, flex the biceps, Derek.
Jesus.
Yeah. But I can't find the way too early tier
Right,
list.
that's fine. That's fine. All right. Let's do you want to
Yeah, I want to go through the pick items for this tournament.
Sorry, do you have the
Yep.
full picture of that? Because that was looking kind of. Tarek,
Why is this guy
Tarek? I mean,
I
can
can't
do
bring
the rest
myself.
if you want, but...
I can't bring myself full screen to her. But Wyatt, if you could give me a her.
Dude, 11:45 is way too early for that kind of filthy little comet baller, you nasty man. All right, pull up the pick'em.
Thank you.
Pull up
Right.
the pick'em, Josh.
Sentinels Paper X. Let's start there because we
Paper
talked
X,
about it a
Paper
little
X,
bit.
Paper X.
yeah, click paper.
Paper X.
Gotta click
My
Paper
big
X.
thing with Paper X is they have Moniette. He's very good. But also, what are the rules going to be with this team? But also, will it matter because Moniette's so good and this roster is oh so stacked?
Is it
I
a
don't
hot
really
take
think
to
so.
say?
Flexible.
Is it a hot take to say Paper X have more obvious roles than Sentinels do? I feel like
What
that
are
is-
they?
Well, I think they just put Moniette back
Oh,
with
with Celsius,
duelist.
yes.
Because
Okay, yeah.
like
Yeah,
when
why not?
Zelsis is in on the team, their roles are more messed up than Paper X's with Moniette. Moniette can just fill in for what Jing was doing. I mean, they could do something
Yeah.
else. They could put Mind Freak on duelist or something weird, but I just don't see why they would do that.
Yeah,
Paper X
that
is
is
the-
probably the most obvious thing.
Paper X is one of the most just flexible teams out there that they can make stuff work. So like
Yeah.
it's only one player as well. So like at most you're swapping two people's roles, and it'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. DRX full sense. Does full sense have a
DRX.
chance of beating DRX there if they're using that
Nah.
off-season
I think
roster?
even if they have the off-season roster, they've played so much together at this point in so many tournaments that I think they'll be good enough by virtue of that.
Okay.
You got to go through John Olsen again. Because John Olsen is still on full sense.
Yeah.
Like, all this
Dude,
time.
shout out to John Olsen.
Okay, but then that sets up John Olsen versus John Cutie. The battle of the Johns.
Send take that. Are you all in agreement?
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, I liked watching Full Sense, but I think that this is just a crazy hard group for them. Like, maybe if they catch, like, a unpracticed Team Liquid, that maybe you could just have some other, like, APAC versus Liquid craziness going on. But I think in this group, everybody feels pretty, like, capable to deal with Full Sense. And they've seen a good amount of them as well, so if they wanted to, they could probably anti-strat them and spot some gaps to exploit. But
All
I
right,
do like Full Sense.
Paper X DRX up in the winners.
Paper X.
Always ends up being a close game for
Paper
some
X.
reason, but still on the Paper X train.
Just gotta go with Paper X.
All right, what about this one?
Yeah.
DRX Sentinels. Do I have any Sentinels believers?
Yes.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I am a Sentinels
I needed to go against
believer.
DRX at one point because I just hate what they're doing. But
Why do you hate what they're doing?
Because, bro, do I have to explain again?
Yeah.
Everything. All right. Who is this flashback guy? Are they actually gonna keep him on the roster? Are they gonna go continue? What is going on with RB? What's going on with Zed? Where the fuck is coach going? I don't even remember his Termy. Is he gonna be an assistant coach? Is he not? Are they saying anything to the fans? What is happening with this team? They need to do something, and they need to actually solidify it without just messing around. And I think the off-season stuff that they do constantly is just that messing around. So I don't think you're ever gonna find. It's a nice place for, you know, the stuff that they want to do with some of their sub players, but like flashback, get them some experience. It's a nice place for that, but down the line they need to not be doing that. and I think they just constantly will. So unlucky. I have to go against DRX at some point.
It was Flashback's birthday 2 weeks ago, by the look of it, on Wikipedia. I was just checking to see how old he was. He's just turned 18, I think. So, he is.
But he
actually
wasn't even eligible.
No, he wasn't eligible previously, and I had been told he was 17, but I didn't know when he became eligible, and now I guess he is. So,
So he could play.
He could,
next
but
year.
we've only seen him play Viper. I mean, they are so desperate to replace Zest. What has Zest done to them? Zest must have done something.
There has to be, there must be secrets, because it makes, oh my god, that will just never make sense to me. My man Zest was rock solid at every single international event that they went to, and they just can't wait to bench him at any given moment for unproven international players. It is bizarre, but that's fine. I've given up on DRX. That's fine.
Yeah, in the offseason they've started.
I'm no longer a believer. I mean, obviously they're really good, but like a top tournament winning believer potential. I mean, I don't believe. I've lost all. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I'm not like Seth. He can believe. That's fine, and I won't. And that's fine.
Seth's never stopped believing. Seth, they get eliminated from a tournament, and Seth's like, they're still gonna win.
Some sort of like WrestleMania, like come back out and just start fighing.
Oh my god, is that Flashback's music? And he like comes back from the grave. He just this would be tragic though for DRX to lose twice and not make it out of. Well, first of all, people in the comments are going to be like, DRX always makes it out of group stage, because that's a thing that they do tend to do over time. And this is also in like Korea. This is in Korea. This is in their home zone. Do you think they'll play with the? I feel like if there was any off-season tournament to bring your proper roster and go full try hard, it would be this one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the prize pool is $90,386 something. If you scroll up, I swear it's $90,389. Hey, listen, that's a pretty good prize pool. That has to be the biggest one of the off season.
Yeah.
Listen. Yeah. You take that one down and I don't know, get yourself a 2010 used Ford Focus. You know what I mean? There's a lot on the line here.
Really treat yourself. Yeah.
Oh, those cars have gone up in price. Let's do some predictions for Group B. So we've got Fancy United playing against Team Liquid. Any Fancy United believers to take down the Apex core?
No. Any other no's?
So.
Poor Fancy United. T1 EDG. I feel like I have been. We're going to talk about EDG later when we talk about the Chinese tournament, but EDG have been looking real wobbly recently. But I cannot understand what T1 are going to be doing with their roster. I just don't understand it. So I have to vote against T1 at all times.
This thing happened last week where for some reason, in my brain, because I'm looking at the 7 players that T1 have, and I'm like, these players are good. They're good players. And then when we were revisiting the way too early tier list last week, Jobra was like, they have 7 players, and who are they going to play with? And having that many players with subs is dumb as hell. And then it just kind of it reminded me like, oh yeah, I despise when teams rotate players and have more than 5 and are constantly going back and forth, which is what's about to happen with this roster. So I went from having some hope to I'm already over it. Nothing has happened. They haven't played once, and I'm over it. So
you've given up on DRX and you've given up on T1 before the season's even begun.
I'm already over them. Even if they win every game, I'm already over them. I don't care.
To be fair, Wyatt, it has, like, you're saying that it's going to happen with this roster, but it already has happened. Like, they already have gone and flown to off-season events with a specific roster, and now they're going to change it. So, like, it already
I'm over it.
Even when they were playing with other off-season tournaments, they couldn't run the roster they were intending because Excurate doesn't have a visa or a passport or something, but I think it was visa issues that they cited. So they always intended to be running Excurate instead of Carpe in their roster. So for anyone who didn't catch their off-season tournaments, they were running Siron, Duelist, then they had They had Carpe
Itsu.
playing like a bit of a flex role. Actually, Carpe sometimes played like a chamber or something. But then they had Itsu playing smokes. He looked really good on smokes. They had Zeta playing his standard role. And then they had King on Sentinel. And that looked like a really good team. And maybe Excurate, if he was cracked, could come in and play better than Carpe. Now Coach Autumn has said that Rossi and Excurate are going to be on the starting roster. So that means that Itsu or Zeta kind of has to be benched. We already know that Carpe is going to be benched. So either Itsu, this promising talent that they've brought up who looks really good in all of the games that they've played so far, is going to be on the bench. Or Zeta, their IGL and team captain, is going to be on the bench. And I guess Rossi would take over IGLing. So this team just looks bizarre to me.
I sleep.
Yeah.
I enter my slumber.
What would it take for you to wake up for T1?
They're dropping 2 players. That's
What
it.
what if they just benched them? They don't have to drop them. They can still pay them.
Because, Josh, these Korean teams cannot resist the juicy temptation of subbing players in time and time again. That's why they need to cut themselves off entirely. They can't. They can't. You can't go on a diet and it's like, okay, it's fine. I'll put the bag of Doritos on the highest shelf. That's fine. I'll never touch them. Like, you're gonna fucking crack that bag open and have nacho cheese iPad baby fingers. Like, they have to drop the players. I'm telling you, they can't. They have to cut off the temptation at the root. So sorry, guys, you're gonna have to get paid elsewhere or stream, but you gotta go.
All right, Liquid EDG then is the matchup that would create. So this is EDG, a team that's just won all of the 3 tournaments in China, but they did look a little dodgy playing against the Apex core that's just, not one actually, but they won a shit ton of games in tier 2 of EMEA, and then they beefed it in the grand finals, unfortunately. But it's that team plus Nats.
And
Yampy.
Yeah, so they got skill.
Yeah. This is the one team that I think this is the only team we haven't seen anything about in the offseason yet. So
Yeah. Can I just say as well, it sucks to see the EMEA teams playing more off-season events in Pacific than EMEA. Like, that's a shame. Like, from I mean, there's been a couple of like Crossfire events and stuff like that, but like we're seeing Navi in Japan next week. We're seeing Liquid here. We saw Fnatic at home ground. Granted, home ground was in Manchester last year, so but it is just like kind of a shame that we like seeing like Team Liquid, one of the biggest dogs in EMEA, really exciting roster moves. It sucks we can't even see it on Twitch, but the fact that it's not even happening in EMEA anyway is just even like more of a shame. And I hope that can change in the future. And a region lock-in's a thing, and like that's how the TOs can sort of earn their money, because it's easier to do regionalized events to get like HyperX sponsors from Spain instead of.
But that doesn't
HyperX
even make
Europe.
sense when you're not even having fucking Spanish teams. Like, Giants is fielding a team that's not even. I mean, I guess they have Fatinho, but like
You had Crossfire Cup, and then even then that had like Agent Mans in. So it's still, when we're seeing EMEA teams, it's either in a different region or
it's
with
messed up.
a weird interaction. So I just wanted to say that that's like a shame, and I hope that changes.
Yeah. And are you going to be rooting for the EMEA team if you've got their back and hoping that you see them more in the more EMEA tournaments? Are you gonna vote for them here?
Well, right.
No, I'm going EDG.
Okay.
I'm actually honest.
My new early morning Valorant fans.
I'm going with Liquid. I'm gonna be honest. EDG, they haven't been doing it for me in the off season. They've had inconsistency has been a struggle, and I think this Liquid core is just the foundation of this Liquid team is strong. It is sturdy. And that is what has me going into this with some confidence and belief in them. The core 3 that they have in, and then you're plugging in Yampy and Nats, some great top tier skill there. I think they're just going to be a rock solid team in this tournament, and I trust their foundation more than, this shaky EDG home that could get lifted by a tornado. Like, it's just not they're not doing it for me right now, and I have some faith. I like this Liquid team. I like this roster. I like where they've taken it, so I'm giving them this one. But
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with EDG. I think that what they showed in the... I mean, maybe they should have showed this earlier, but what they showed in the finals of the Chinese tournament is that when they need to turn it on, they can turn it on a level further than they've currently been playing at. But I'm not really sure why they didn't show that kind of level when it came to the off-season tournaments. I mean, to be fair, some of the players were playing at that kind of level. Like during the 10 Global Invitational, where EDG didn't do that well, Smoggy was still playing like an absolute beast, and they were only... They threw a map away to C9, and if they'd been able to close that out, I think they were up like 10-5 or something on Sunset. That seems to ring some kind of bell. And if they'd been able to close that out, they would have been in a good spot to make second in the tournament or something. So I'm going to give this one to EDG. Bala, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, EDG as well. Every single, like you said, every single time they actually make it to get into the grand finals, they just turn up another level. I don't think they've lost a map in the grand finals of the 3 different acts. We haven't talked about that too much on the show yet, but like it's much better when it gets to that. And it's not like they've been experimenting too much other than like what Kong's role, and they pretty
it's not experimentation so much as just trying to fit the meta.
Yeah, trying to fit the meta with Cypher basically, and that's it. Which is interesting to me because EDG is a team that in the past in their Chinese events, when it mattered more to them right now, because I think for most people they're pretty locked in for getting to partnership, given that they've been to every single tournament as a Chinese
travesty if they
representative.
didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting because this matters less for them in my eyes. So they should be messing around with things. They should be trying like the old Gecko comps that they used to run and stuff like that.
Still running that on Breeze. Bring back bring the Gecko over.
The
Gecko.
Neon Gecko.
But I also think like in the recent games, like they're all playing fantastic, other than Kong being like a little inconsistent. His last series was insane. So they have the ability to just pull it out, and regardless of if they like struggle a little bit, I still think they should be able to beat Team Liquid in a best of 3 here. And even if they lose, they're making it out of the group and making it farther than Team Liquid in my mind.
I mean, listen, I'm totally fine with picking EDG here as well. I might have had too much Delta 8 before bedtime, but I think this is for me this is like a 50-50.
Okay.
And I'm just picking Liquid.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good series. I hope so, because I think that shows really promising signs for Liquid's first event, more than EDG looking sort of shaky. Because I think EDG against like tier 1 teams, I think this is why they lost some of the series in the China events as well. They kind of get found out and they don't have Kong having an insane performance, or the winning clutches, or the winning thrifties. Like the first series that they had against Rare Atom that they lost, they just kind of didn't find an opening. But in the grand final, they were winning all of the clutches, they were winning all of the thrifties, they were winning rounds that they shouldn't do, because that's what EDG, kind of like PaperX, could just make those rounds happen out of their asses. But sometimes if they're up against tougher opponents, they don't really get that chance to get that confidence and do funny EDG things.
Aha, very funny EDG things. All right, Fancy United are playing against T1 then.
T1.
I'm so tempted to just go against T1. Definitely have the better players, but I mean, yes, I can. Good player. I have not watched very much of this team play. I feel like punting on the upset result against T1. I'm so close to just predding that
if that
T1
happens,
beef
I
their
will.
roster.
Oh my god! I mean that. I don't.
What's funnier? You predicting
There's no
against
way.
them and Fancy
no
winning,
way.
or you getting it right?
But predicting against them is what everybody's going to do, I think. Like the status quo is going to be that Fancy United go out 0-2, surely. But
Yeah.
But
Surely.
man, would it be funny if Fancy United beat Liquid or T1. I mean, they've got the opportunity to just do the funniest thing, because both of those teams are like primed to get clowned on if they lose.
Honestly, I don't know how you didn't do anything to try and sway the minds of anybody with everything you just said, Josh. Yet somehow you swayed my mind, and I'm going with Fancy United.
All I said was it'd be funny.
And you got me. And then, but for some reason, it would be funny manifested into a mental picture that I've painted of them actually doing it. Like, I could see that happening.
It's just like anytime
I'm going to Fancy United now because I'm going with them.
Anytime you get into like a little trolly mood, you're like, oh, I should pick Reyna in this premiere match. Somebody just needs to urge you over. And that's what Josh has done. He's just pushed you over. Let's Plat Chat guarantee Fancy United over 2-1 right here.
Dude, as if you think I have the Plat Chat guarantee button. Wait, we could do it. Yeah, we could do like a fake guarantee. We all need to freeze frame.
You didn't even click, bro.
Oh,
You haven't seen it. You selected it. You're just mousing over it.
I didn't click. Yeah, my bad. I thought you meant click the camera.
I was wondering why you slapped your camera.
And then what? Are we predicting the Fancy United doing the funniest thing?
They're not beating Liquid though.
They're going on a run.
No, they're not going into. Guys, come on.
No, they're not. Come on.
Liquid or what? Josh, press the Liquid button.
I don't think I could look at Emily.
Boring.
I don't think he'd talk to me if I predicted
Did you not?
against him.
Did you not sign in?
Did I
Why
not
does it
sign
matter?
in?
We
No,
don't
I
need
didn't
to-
sign
So we
in.
just can't even submit
They
it.
just take a picture. That's
Yeah,
How
someone
are
will
we
take a
supposed to
screenshot.
win?
And if
That's a
we're
good
wrong,
point.
delete the VOD.
That's not.
I'll give you all my Reddit account. Let me.
Was it Valorant Fanboy 69? We finally found the guy.
Who
We found him.
who do y'all have winning the tournament then? Just Paper X?
I'd
Yeah.
like to.
If Paper X don't win,
is that the expectation? Is that the expectation? No.
has to be.
Yeah, definitely. They're
by far and away the best team.
Has to be.
On paper.
I mean, it's Paper X, DRX, or like EDG and Sentinels.
EDG. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sentinels can do some damage in this tournament, though. I think I'm feeling good about Sen. I think that over the off-season tournaments that we've seen them play, their coordination's got better, their understanding of maps has gotten better, and they've actually developed a couple of maps in their pool that look really solid against some good competition. So I could see them doing damage in this tournament, and I think that they'll really want to win as well, because this is their first chance to take some international scalps in forever.
I mean, it obviously depends on what happens and how the playoff bracket actually gets like aligned to some extent, but maybe even not. Without that being the case, I think the most likely finals is Paper X and Sentinels. But Paper X win. They're just.
I have more
they're
faith in
just the
EDG
best.
than you guys, I guess.
Yeah. I've just been soured by EDG not doing that well in the off-season tournaments, though they did do well recently in China.
They lost 2 games. Like, it happens, man. It happens. And then they come back and they shit on them in the finals every single time. I mean, maybe not shit on them, but
Yeah.
Just
Okay, well,
false?
let's move on to talking about China then, shall we? Before we talk about EDG, though, I just want to give public service announcement. We finally can stop saying on Plat Chat, I don't know what the fuck's happening in China. What the fuck is this format? What's going on? I don't get it. Because we now do get it. Ryan got it a while back, and then I got given it. That's a weird way of putting that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got meds for it now. I'm doing a lot better. So thank you for revealing that on a podcast.
Good.
Itches is still a bit, but you know.
Yeah.
I can give it to you too, Josh, if you want.
Yeah, I know. You've threatened to give it to Bren as well and train him. So we've already seen that in a previous episode. So, yeah. So
Ebola has become a real like just a filthy man.
He's in
now
deep.
that we're really thinking about it,
Should we put him back in the box?
The past 12 months.
Put him back in the box and laugh at it.
Is that like horny jail? That
Yeah,
he's just
this
in
is
that
horny
corner?
jail.
That is horny jail. This guy's been out of pocket in the last 12 months.
I mean, you guys just make me horny. What can I
We
say?
gotta, dude, we gotta get the spray bottle like he's a cat and just spray him down with the water.
Yeah, so there's been a series of tournaments happening in China, and I think the biggest confusion that I had certainly was, why the hell are these guys playing for Ascension when 10 of the teams are going to be going straight to partnerships? And basically it's because they hadn't figured out who was going to partnerships until, like, I think it actually happened like this week, or it's still about to happen next week or something like that. Because they're going to announce the VCT teams for China in early December. And then they're going to play Ascension in mid-December with the other top 10 teams that didn't make it. So if you look at like their overall standings right now, this is the amount of points that all of the teams have. And then, yeah, these teams are going to be competing in Ascension unless they make it to partnership, basically. And there should be some
Yeah.
teams that are just an absolute lock for partnership up at the top here.
Yeah, I think the obvious ones are EDG, FPX, and Billy. Rare
Yeah.
Atom. So I compiled like a list because there's a lot of orgs on here that I didn't know anything about. Just because it went in Overwatch back then, it weren't really in Valorant that much. Like, there's a lot of like 4AM, 4 Angry Men, massive in PUBG and PUBG Mobile, and they've sort of been doing pretty well. So I think in even like Pacific and stuff like that, we've had some kind of kooky teams that have made partnership, like RQ, that we didn't really know much about.
Definitely.
But then you hear, oh, they're massive in like mobile games for sure. So I think that what I keep hearing when it comes to the orgs, the list is going to be fucking outrageous. Like there's going to be some teams on there that you'd assume that would get in that are not getting in as partner teams and would have to play Ascension. And so like there's some orgs in there like Attacking Soul and Trace. They're quite small orgs. They don't have a big audience in any other games in particular. So they're likely to be playing Ascension. Royal Never Give Up, world winners, I'm pretty sure at a point. They've been in the LPL for a long ass time, like since 2016, 2017. But they are, to quote the EG of China, like they haven't paid their manager for 3 months of work.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I think that they're like in a rough place financially. So there's orgs in there like Top, for example. Like there's a lot of LPL names you might recognize, but I think it's easy to assume if they're in the LPL, they're going to get in for partnership in China, which isn't necessarily true. Like orgs like NIP, who started off at EMEA and then went to Brazil and now went to China. They have an LPL team in China as well in League. I heard that they were going to get on the list, and then I've heard like conflicting things since. So I think that this is going to bring up a lot of orgs that people haven't really heard of before because they were big in Arena of Valor or Mobile Legends Bang Bang or PUBG Mobile. Because I think Riot wants to bring in orgs from outside the LPL to get them in on VCT, and then maybe they invest in LPL in the future. And especially if we're getting like Valorant Mobile, getting the mobile orgs in for actual VCT to maybe get them in for Valorant Mobile if there's an esports scene there in the future is probably more worthwhile for Riot than bringing in their LPL teams that they know financially might be struggling a little bit. So they're bringing in like massive organizations, and there's massive orgs in China. Like LNG is one that I learned about the other day. It's like Li-Ning Gaming, and Li-Ning is basically like an apparel company. And they have a team in the LPL, and they also sponsor, I think, all of the LPL kits. And their previous sponsor for the kits was Nike. These guys fucking overthrew Nike to like there's some big ass organizations and some big like conglomerates involved in the scene. I'm sure Riot want to get involved in VCT as well, naturally.
And some of these organizations as well, or some of these rosters aren't going to be able to compete as they are too. If you haven't been following the scene, one of the best teams at the moment, a top 2 team currently, is this Rare Atom org, which, as far as I'm aware, like Rare Atom is a fairly large organization, but isn't a lock for partnerships. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, they used to be Vici Gaming, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did they?
I think
That was the same org.
I think they're known as, I think that in some games they're still Vici Gaming.
Oh, right.
So they've been involved in like the LPL for quite some time too.
Yeah. But
so this is like another favorite for sure.
They have 2 Korean players on the team, one of which is their star player, Stu, and the other one who's their IGL, Yeoman. And they're going to have to drop one of them heading into next year if they make the partnership system. I think they'd be allowed to play in Ascension with the 2 imports because that's the same in the rest of the world, right? But they're stuck in like a horrendous decision. I don't know who you go with in that situation. Like, do you just stick with the IGL that's got you to the 2nd place slot and try and find someone else that communicates in English, by the way, because that's what this team does. They primarily comment in English while they're a top 2 team in China. It's
get rid
wild.
of Stu, though. Stu is unbelievable. I don't know how he was missed as a talent in Korea.
Oh, T1's going to pick him up.
Yeah,
he's going to get dropped from Rare Atom. He's going to join T1.
Well.
And Wyatt's going to have an aneurysm.
No comment,
man. But it is like, I think, unlike something like EMEA, there's a lot of IGLs in China, and a lot of them I'd say are pretty good. And so there's so many orgs that are in the top spot that, for example, Trace, the rumor I keep hearing, if Trace play for Ascension and they don't make it, JDG are wanting that team. Like naturally, because Trace have been like consistently up there. Like Kim's 2nd place,
top 5 team
2,
for sure.
Kim 3rd. Yeah, probably top 3. And so this org probably won't make partnership based on its size and that it's not known in other esports, for example, like not Dota and haven't been around that long. So I think that if Trace didn't win Ascension, this squad would be snapped up by one of the big LNGs. I think Wolves as well. Wolverhampton Wanderers Esports is investing a lot because it's owned by Fusan. Because they used to be a sponsor from EG because they had the Wolves badge on, which I realized as well that if that might be the cause of everything going wrong with EG, because Wolves used to sponsor them and then they stopped, and so maybe that money ran out, and then EG now have to have a pay cut on everybody and basically fall apart. So this all could have been caused by Wolverhampton Wanderers in the UK going to China. Like that's the weirdest.
It all comes back to
connection
Wolverhampton
overall.
Wanderers.
Yeah, so there's so many big orgs that just don't have teams. So if they get in partnership, a lot of these teams are going to get snapped up, or at least individual players. But yeah, Rare Atom are in a really weird spot. Like you either pick one of the best duelists out there at the moment, or your IGL, who has also been playing pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about EDG then, because they were the team that has won all 3 of the acts in China, like the big 3 tournaments that would get you points for Ascension. I brought up the stats earlier. They were like the #1 team in points by a long shot. But they did lose a little bit too. They looked a little dodgy. They haven't been winning the off-season tournaments or beating teams that you would expect them to beat, like Cloud9 beat them in that 10 global tournament as well. But I feel like the wider scene basically just sees the clips that go viral on Reddit, like Kankan getting the back-to-back ace in the grand final. And they're just like, yes, he is a god. When actually he's been playing some of his worst Valorant recently, I think, apart from that final. But I don't know whether it's that EDG can turn it on when they want to, or that the rest of the teams in China are just not at their level in terms of experience and big game performance. Because it does feel like there's a big difference between when EDG make it to a final and every other period of time where they feel beatable. What's your feel?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I think that the maps that they have been losing in series, it's always been Sunset for one. Like they sort of came up with one of the early comps with like the Chamber, for example, but with Cypher coming very meta, especially on Sunset, is going to be very omnipresent anyway. I think that they basically had the same comp as before, where Kong Kong was on the Chamber, and they just moved him over to Cypher. And I remember saying to you when we watched it, and it felt like we need to play Cypher because Cypher's way too good at the moment. So it was just like a very quick pivot to move over. So seeing Kong Kong and Cypher was kind of interesting, but even when they played it on against Top, who were like a decent team, but like not to the same like level, like Top scared them a lot. Top also has Sylvan and Echo from Gen.G, so they're also in the same import awkward position, but they have 2 Korean players on their roster that they need to choose from. So there was a lot of stuff. Trace also kind of battered EDG on Sunset in stage 2. So this is like one of the crux maps for EDG. They're still trying to work out how to approach it. And then also Lotus last stage because they were running Omen and Astra instead of a Viper.
Yeah.
But they reverted back to that. They look better, but it's still a map that they've lost on a couple of times.
Old Team Liquid comp, Omen Astra.
Yeah.
Also, Paper X and Champs. Are they running?
Were they running Omen Astra?
Well, it was weird. I think double control. Yeah, there was no Viper or something like that way back.
Yeah. What do you think, Bala? Are you still on the EDG train? Do you think that they're going to be a top team next year?
I think it's to me it's pretty easy to write off some of their losses. Given that, number one, this is likely to not mean much to them, although they are a team that consistently puts the pedal to the metal when it comes down to it and want to win every single tournament. I'm not saying that they're like not trying at all, but I think it's easy to fall into some traps of not having the right amount of energy on one day or something like that. And because they've won, like, it's not just they've scooped all 3 acts here, by the way. This is like they've won pretty much everything in China domestically for almost 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
Like they've lost 1 or 2, but for the most part, especially this year, it's been every single one. And they've had to go through periods of time where it mattered more, where it mattered for them to qualify and so on and so forth. Right now, it's just like it's off season, they're getting their reps in, and every time you watch them, they still have these moments that are what make EDG special, right? The magic moments out of Chichu, the magic moments out of fucking Augie and Kong Kong constantly. Like they pull them out of a hat, and that's what matters for this team. So yeah, when the guy's getting back-to-back aces, you kind of think he's back into form. He's not the same 10 global invitational type thing, where he had wrist health issues and stuff like that. I think I think it's easy to continue to have faith here and write off some of these losses where they continuously just come back and smack the shit out of that team in the finals anyways.
Yeah.
I definitely. I was just gonna say, I definitely feel. Whatever is happening in the offseason right now, I will say, does not concern me for next year. It's just right now in the moment, like when we're talking about liquid EDG and that kind of thing. I am not concerned about the future of EDG. You know, the offseason is always things are always in flux. You know, these tournaments, like teams are traveling around quite a bit to get to them, and there's a lot of factors. You know, like how seriously teams are taking these tournaments, how much prep they're putting into these tournaments compared to the prep that goes into the, you know, actual franchise league tournaments, etc. So I'm not concerned about EDG next year.
Yeah. I do think one thing that they like, one of the issues out of Champions, for example, was to me a very individual one with nobody. It's the guy I would criticize the most for failing to continue forward in Champions in the first place. And I feel like he's not that same person that he was back in Champions. True. I think he's reined it in a lot, and that was high priority for me. And other stuff, like you said, are in flux. Sure, Con can dip and whatever in form, and yeah, you might be right about maybe their form right now, right this instant. But I don't believe that that's necessarily even true still.
My biggest concerning factor when I was watching them was just that they're trying to fit the global meta a lot, which is in some sense a really good thing, because one of the issues with China in some other games, I mean, specifically Overwatch is the one that I'm thinking of. They took about 3 years to get going because they just had their own ecosystem. And that's what I thought would happen in Valorant as well, especially considering that they didn't really have too much encounter with the global top levels of competition. The global ecosystem didn't really interact with China very much. But apart from FPX, who continue to just run the weirdest shit you've ever seen. And
I love it. I live for it so much. It's TCH, like he either comes up with some really interesting, thought-provoking walls, or he uses shit from like 4 years ago.
Like,
there's no in between. It's fantastic, and Ayang is teaching us all
British
Gecko Tech, which
also dog shit.
I didn't think we'd see much. I'm telling you, like FPX are going to an international event next year,
and they're going to shit the bed. Yeah.
No,
I'm taking the piss, but Ryan's got they really do just come up with their own setups for everything. They never copy anybody else ever, which means that half of their stuff is just really badly optimized, because it's like it could be a little bit better if they just follow the meta ideas. Like the meta's a meta for a reason. It's a meta because other people see you doing it and it's better than what they were running, so they copy it instead of coming up with something better themselves. It doesn't mean it's the best possible, but it means that nobody's pushed a better thing out there into the world for other people to copy just yet. And FPX are always trying to push new ideas in there for other people to copy. They're like, hey, do you want to look at this? We're like, no, thank you. They're like, well, what about this? No, thank you. We've got a better one at home. But what really made me upset was that with EDG trying to do that, Kangkang's been put in a weird position where he has to play Sentinel. They're swapping around Nobody and Smoggy, and yeah, they're swapping around their roles like quite a bit, where Nobody's playing Viper on a few of the maps and Smoggy's playing Fade, and that seems a little strange as well, though I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. And the other part too is whilst being a top team on Haven in China, their game against FPX on Haven was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. I mean, the rest of the world has got that map down to like a science in terms of how you're supposed to play the Viper comp on that map, and these two teams are just throwing shit at the wall. Like, that Viper orb on A barely got thrown once. They were trying to play in front of it, playing like aggro short. They weren't even using it when they were throwing it. Like, it was a tragedy. So that really made me wonder, like, these guys are behind on some things as well. They're not just, they're not even using the right map ideas sometimes, which worries me a bit.
Yeah, it's like they're banned from using the usual stuff that you see. Because they weren't doing like the typical defensive wall on Haven where you go across the seaside into garage. they were just always, they were either doing the old one that you do towards like A main, it cuts across series like Team Liquid were using way back when, or they were just making up their own. Literally, it looked like the one that they were throwing on defense. Like that's the usual one that you expect from EDG. I'm thinking of like FPX if you go to the other half,
FPX,
where it's
they're not cases.
it's literally like TCH are like shit. I just need to throw out a smoke, but he did that 12 rounds in a row, basically. Like it's interesting to see what the theory is behind it. Obviously, I don't know because I don't speak Chinese, so I just have to try and guess. So it's at least nice to get some thought-provoking stuff.
It is tragic that you call yourself an
head.
expert on China when you don't speak Mandarin. You need to get on with that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try. I don't know what's harder to understand. What TCH is doing, I'll fucking like fancy text. It really is. It's the same sort of lines. I just work out what it means overall.
Yeah. Let's have a little small check-in with what's going on with the live. My alarm's just gone saying check-in with game changers. What's going on? It's a 5-0 lead at the moment for Shopify Rebellion. 0 rounds for EDG by the look of things.
Yeah, that's the current status.
Oh, I hear Mimi Gaming. Let's go. We got her on.
Ah, Mimi Gaming.
Yeah.
What's cracking here? So this match, though, is supposed to be just a bit of a roll for Shopify Rebellion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're massive favorites to take the tournament.
And also Haven is.
I don't know about
that.
I don't feel that they're massive favorites to take the tournament.
Okay.
But I digress.
Who's their biggest competition?
For me,
SMG.
it's SMG and BBL Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
BBL
really
Queens
interested to
team
see
that won in
BBL
EMEA.
later today. I know it's
I'm
against
really
Crew, but
I don't know. Listen, we're looking at game changers right now. I'm in my unhinged pick'em. I have BBL Queens beating them in the game that follows this one up.
Beating
Shopify. You have
Rebellion.
BBL over Shopify.
Yeah. Yep.
They're definitely a dark horse. Like
I
I
think
just
they're-
don't
yeah,
know
that's
what
crazy,
BBL
bro.
are going to be like because like Scrim in BBL is a nightmare because they're just Scrim demons. Like I've literally had nightmares about Vanya. I had a nightmare that I was being like basically hunted by a serial killer omen, like sort of like a Jason Halloween-esque film, but I knew it was Vanya, that I was being hunted down and killed by this fucking
Oh no.
BBL
They do both
IGL.
teleport. They do both
Yeah,
teleport. The Omen just shows up behind you.
And then we scrimmed
His
it the
hand
next
on
day
your
and she
shoulder.
1v3'd us in a clutch. And it's just like, it's happening in real time. Like, this team is.
That wasn't me.
crazy.
That wasn't
No,
that
that
wasn't
was
me.
you.
That wasn't me.
That was
bro.
you. What are you doing?
That wasn't me. I
That's
didn't
number
take down the
3.
Game Changer
That's
stream.
number 3. That was you. What are you talking about?
I was just about to swap off anyway and make a joke about, we don't want to watch this because it's 6-0. They just lost to a guy diffusing in the smoke. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the next topic swiftly, which is my new segment. Okay.
Here we go.
This is only
Here
gonna
comes
go
number
well.
4
Here we
any
go.
second now.
Now, I don't really have any assets for this. Like I said, all I've got
Right.
is a format and an idea. That's basically it.
Dream.
So I'm
Perfect.
calling this segment "Whose Take Is It Anyway?" And what I'm gonna do is I got
Very
you
original.
guys.
Like
Thank
the
you.
cruise line, anyways. Yeah, I got it.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We can't afford to pay the trademark fees. Don't say it. I'm gonna have to change the name now. I'm just gonna call it.
Oh, yeah, my favorite.
Yeah. So, okay, each of you submitted either one take, a couple takes, whatever. I put them all into a randomizer. I added almost as many takes again just from myself, and I am going to distribute them out. Now, the idea being, we'll have Wyatt going first here, right?
Okay.
I'm going to send you a take on Discord. It's either going to be your take or a cooked up take.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
You've got to sell it as if it's your take, as if you really believe it.
Okay. Got you.
And the others, Ryan and Arden, have to guess whether it's your real take or the cooked take.
Right.
And chat.
Okay.
And they'll get a point if they get it right. You'll get a point if you successfully fool them.
Okay.
I'm
You could do
sending you
Twitch
the
polls
take
and
now.
everything on this.
Wyatt, oh yeah, we could run polls and all sorts, but I'm not going to do it because I don't know how. But
Can I do it?
yeah, you can, maybe. Wyatt, what is your take?
Yeah. Okay, so my take here, and listen, I could imagine there being some dissenters on this, but I think that there is some major legitimacy to Loud's decision for picking up Quick QCK in the offseason. So much so that it might honestly end up being the best offseason move in the Americas. And obviously, that's tough contention because literally a team picked up Ospas, who is being replaced by Quick. So, like, that is tough, obviously. But all that being said, Quick has some outrageous versatility. In his time playing in Brazil, spanning across Furia, previous teams, he has played every agent in the game in a match except for, like, ISO, because he hasn't had a chance yet. He is maxed out on versatility, an extremely experienced player. And I think that that's going to be crucial for Loud at this point with what they have to accomplish with this new roster, because you can't just plug and play a duelist.
All right.
You just can't do it.
That's
Like,
all nice and good, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you already said that you weren't hype on Loud. So I can't imagine that you were like justifying.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I was the person in the way too
Where's the
early
S
tier
tier?
list. It wasn't the week that you were on. I was trying to get them up there.
Okay.
I was trying to get Navi down, and I was trying to get Loud into S tier. Now, where in S tier, like, you know, the lower part of it, obviously, like, I'm not going to try and put them with Fnatic and Paper Rex at the top. Like, that's out of pocket, because they still have a lot to prove. But
I didn't study these episodes enough, so you could be right.
Exactly.
Ryan.
Concerning the whole team, though, you still have
plausible deniability. Perfect for this game.
Because you still have, for the loud existing core. I mean, never in this lifetime can you doubt Sadhak, Les, Kawazine, and then, you know, we'll see what Tuiz is able to do. But the point that I was
it's
making,
not his take, guys. It's not his take. He's
The
adding
point
way
that I
too
was-
much fluff.
the point that I was making before I was interrupted.
Yeah.
was
Sorry,
that-
go on.
No, the final point that I was actually trying to make before Bala rudely
sorry.
interrupted me before I was finished. Outrageous behavior from the horniest man on the show. Somehow topped Josh Wilkinson as the horniest man on the show. Was
That's
that
tier list.
they can't just replace Ospas with another Ospas. What they needed is a player that's experienced and extremely versatile so they can work out what is going to end up being the optimal roles and style for the team. They needed a guy like QCK.
Ryan,
So
do you have any
was the take
cross-examination?
in a sentence? Like, that you think the QCK is going to be the signing of the offseason?
Yeah, in Americas, he's going to be the signing of the offseason.
In Americas. I mean, what is that to compete with, really? Like, what are
Ospas.
the other... Ospas, yeah.
Instant answer from
So,
Martin.
I mean, yeah, that's.
I'm not going to use that as a rhetorical question, actually. I have an answer.
But that's basically TBD, right? And I think, I think there's a stronger chance of Loud being above Lev by the end of the season.
Oh, Wyatt, come on, bro. Actually,
Hey
no,
man,
probably.
y'all can doubt, y'all can doubt, and y'all can hate, because everybody always hates on Loud until they turn up. So
All right,
keep on hating,
I just-
everybody.
I need
just-
guesses. I'm going to have to
I'm
press you
gonna
for guesses.
I'm going to say that's a true take.
It's not his take. Not his take.
All right. So Ryan thinks it is the true take. Arton doesn't. Wyatt, would you please reveal? Was that your take or was that a cooked one?
That was not my take.
Thank you. Dude, I had a feeling. I'm pretty sure you were like, yeah, no, Levin's going to be better than Lod this year. Like on one of the last episodes. So I knew it couldn't be real. I just knew it.
Okay, so that's 1 point to Wyatt, 1 point to Bala, and 0 points to Ryan. I want to move on to Ryan. Ryan, you've got your take. It's been DM'd to you. Please let us know what's your hot
I'll read
take
it
for this
out.
week.
It's like the would I like you reading out there. Oh, we
Yeah,
gonna get
exactly.
fucking
Yeah,
decommissioned by
don't say
them
the
as
name
well.
of the shows that we're blatantly ripping off.
Yeah,
It's like around the horn, right?
Stop
Yeah.
saying names of shows.
I'm pretty sure Monty Python had a sketch like
Oh,
this as well.
God, turn it off. We're losing
BBC
so
is
much
coming
money.
for us. The
Go on, Ryan.
Champions Final in 2025 will feature 2 Chinese teams.
What the fuck is this take?
In 2025, you said?
Yeah, I think it's too early next year.
Okay.
Like, people thinking that, like, it's not only that we'd have a Chinese team winner, that we'd have 2 teams in the grand final.
Okay, this
Right.
is your take.
The final.
This is your take, yeah. Number one, it's just too random for Josh to pull out of like all his random takes. That it happens to be the Chinese events that you're talking about Chinese teams.
We did talk, yeah, me and Josh hung out on Watch Pies. We talked about poo sticks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about the PvE
to know.
sport of
You
squash,
can't just drop
where-
the term poo sticks without context. That doesn't make any sense to other people.
We were talking in the middle of a game. You were describing what poo sticks were. And
Yeah,
why
it's a gameplay
it's
by
very
Winnie the Pooh.
specific.
That's why it's called Poo Stick.
Right.
It's not a butt plug. It's not another
Okay.
name for
Oh,
a
I
butt
thought it
plug.
was-
Let's stop diverting here. Ryan, which 2 teams?
Well, we don't. I have no idea what teams would make partnership for one. That's going to be up in the air. It's going to be some like fucking like tech gaming versus.
I mean, I don't think that's fair. I don't think he needs to say which because the point he's making
has
is
to
that
kind of have an idea. I
no,
get it.
no,
I
I
get
don't
it, but
think so. Because the point he's making is that within 2 years' time, with how the rate that China's improving, that there will be 2 teams quality enough to be in the grand finals. That's you can't predict who's going to be there.
It pretty much
I don't
would
think
be
that
like
matters.
dude,
2 out of the 4 teams. Because
Oh,
I imagine
all
if it's
that
like
being-
the same format, it's
This
4
is-
teams would go from China.
this is your take, but I
Yeah,
don't
it is
believe
his
you
take.
believe it. I don't think you truly believe it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's
Ryan's
a
take.
different one for the game.
What
It's
if I had a
Ryan's
take
take.
similar and I just upped it to the next level?
Okay, Wyatt, are you locking it in? That is
Yes,
Ryan's.
it's Ryan's take.
Okay, and
Yes.
Ryan, sorry, not Ryan, but Arden.
Yes, it's Ryan's take.
Ryan,
It is my take, and I do believe it.
Oh,
I'm
come
calling it.
on, bro.
It's
Come
China is the
on.
future. I mean,
Pacific
not right now,
hasn't even
but-
won a tournament yet, bro. They've had paper.
Yeah,
Only
but-
one team has made it for Pacific. Like, you really think China, who's been behind by 2 years, is gonna have 2 teams? I could think 1 team, but 2 teams is crazy, bro. That's just crazy.
all-
you're doing the
all it
reverse
needs-
boostio.
Yeah. You're willing it into existence by saying that. But I think it's like the only thing that I want to see from this event to sort of confirm that that's what I think is like teams actually getting to compete against EDG. Granted, EDG won all of the events, but it went from them dropping 1 map for all of the first stage, which was an overtime bind against Rare Atom in the finals, to drop in series and like a couple of maps, to drop in a series and almost losing another series against Attacking Soul, and also dropping maps from FPX, dropping maps from Rare Atom. Like teams
So
are
China's
catching
getting
up
worse.
so quickly. I think that people are getting a lot better and closer to EDG personally. I think that this year might be a bit of a fucking mess for EDG. Well, not for EDG, for China region as a whole. Kind of similar to EMEA this year, where there's so many roster movements and so many orgs that work like Koi and Cam and Core, and so many teams moving around, like Ascend disbanding, Guild disbanding. So I think that this year for a lot of Chinese teams, it's going to be a bit of a mess to see where these players end up, especially in some of these bigger orgs. But I do think going into next year, you've got a lot of teams that are much stronger against each other, scrimming each other closely. You can also kind of scrim up against the Pacific teams as well, like your Paper X's, your DRXs. Don't know what the ping is like, but I imagine it's not
At
too
least
egregious.
80.
Yeah.
Is it
So
really?
like there's a lot more build up, I think, there too. And
Okay.
a lot of fucking money and a lot of resources. For
All
sure.
right, let's-
I'm okay with you saying like China's gonna get much better. They're gonna compete. They're gonna be beating all these NA teams. Blah 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 blah. But 2 teams in the finals is like so crazy in a game like Valorant, which is completely global.
Watch when it
which
happens.
we've had like top 4 by
Clip
a
it for when it
different
happens.
continent every single tournament since 2020, since
It's
EMEA versus
either-
EMEA in the finals.
It's either going to happen and I look like a prophet, or it's not going to happen and I'm irrelevant at that point anyway. That everybody should so win-win.
Yeah, true.
Cool.
Arden, you have been sent your take. Please, would you read it out?
Sideshow. Cloud9 will be better this year than in 2023. So
Can you break that down?
this year they have Oxy, who's going to be a star, and you know they've really everybody's like, oh, this is going to be a pretty budget team. They're not going to do too great, but last year they kind of fucked the bill with their budget. drop yay, blah, blah, blah.
Is that a phrase?
No, hold on.
Fuck the bill.
Fuck the bill. Yeah, I just made it up.
Right, okay, great.
Yeah. And
us,
they
yeah,
pulled
fuck
it
the
out and they were
police
like,
as well.
oh my God, this is the best team. And then they choked. But guess what? They got rid of all the chokers. They got rid of Zelsis. They got rid of Leaf. All the chokers are
Zelsis
gone.
is the choker.
New team.
By what Bala, by what
It brought in-
metric are they going to be better? Like the eye test, results based. How are they going to be
Results-based.
better? Okay,
Results based. They'll end up making it to an international tournament.
they're going to make an international tournament
Yep.
in North America.
Well, sorry, what?
I mean, they're going to make an international tournament by
In the
qualifying
Americas League,
through
yes.
Americas.
Yes. What else would they do?
All right, this isn't balls.
Didn't they go? They went 8-2 this year. Didn't
This
they?
is not his take. This is just
They went
it's
into,
not
yeah.
his take.
Yeah, but they lost in playoffs in third place.
So you're considering it more successful purely getting to an international event, not having a better regular season.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's all that matters at the end of the year, right? Is
It's
making it to
not
international events
his
and qualifying out of
goddamn
groups.
Yeah, but like,
take.
is qualifying for Madrid the same as qualifying for like Tokyo this year?
Oh, of
And
course.
Madrid
Just
is
a
top
two
two.
tournament.
It's top two.
Madrid's
yeah. That's-
harder, if anything, isn't it?
True,
That's
but
right.
it's over a shorter period of time. It's just a
Well, no, I mean,
double
it's.
immersion.
I don't think so. I don't know what the format is yet, but top two, regardless of what format it is difficult. I don't think Cloud9 is making it top two, but I definitely think they could make it to Shanghai, and I definitely think they can make it to Champions. Out of all the teams in America, there's a lot of turmoil right now. I actually think most of the NA teams are kind of scuffed right now, and in terms of having an NA team, I'd say Cloud9 is up there.
What are you thinking, Wyatt?
It's bullshit.
Okay. What are you thinking, Ryan?
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna go the opposite, so I could be 0-3 on this baby. Let's go.
Okay.
It's complete bullshit. That was the hardest thing to defend. I would never defend Cloud. Like immediately, I was like, Cloud9, fuck my life. To be fair, though, I am higher than all. Like Josh is like, oh, this is a budget team. This team's gonna be ass. Obviously, your take has changed
Yeah.
since then, and they're
since
doing
then.
I
pretty
believe in
good in the
EMEA.
offseason. But like,
Christ.
That's my argument. Bold buff for Emmy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I want to send it around one more time and take it a little quicker. Let me go back over to Wyatt here, and I'm going to send
Okay.
Wyatt
Oh
this
god, I
take.
have to go to the bathroom so bad. Can you guys react to the Shopify game, and I'll be right back.
Okay, let's do some based reacting. Actually, I have a be right back screen, but I don't know what it does.
no,
Shall I
don't
click
press
it?
It says be right back, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know how to get off it. So we might just be
Just
stuck on the
ends
be
the
right back
stream.
stream the whole time.
Shopify Rebellion are 11-1 up against EDG.
Let me click it for a moment.
So
Didn't even do anything. Well, it doesn't do anything.
Nice.
All right.
Well, probably because you have to like set up a timer and stuff like that. Well, actually, I guess it just would go anyways.
meanwhile,
don't know.
Kurt has collapsed in Sao Paulo just from the internal pain of
Dude,
just
we can
like the
get
Obi-Wan
Twitch
Kenobi feeling
drops.
it out.
Oh shit! Let's go.
Nice. Okay, so it's 11-1. So this is a massive upset, right?
Yeah, totally. Honestly, EDG I think was a favorite. I was just talking about how EDG should be like nobody should be worried about them in the off season, and this is crazy. I've never seen them get stomped this hard.
And Game Changers 2025. It's going to be two Chinese teams in the grand final. That's what I meant, clearly.
Dude,
Okay.
wait,
This kind of fun.
Fucking hell. I'm
Also,
so
on
tempted
that,
to
the
just
one
say
thing I forgot to mention.
while Wyatt's away, we should give him that as his take. We just give him that he has to say Game Changers 2025.
My whole leg has fallen asleep, and I'm just hobbling back.
What?
All right.
Bro just blew up.
Okay. What is
One thing that I also wanted to mention about the China teams, like they beat Billy beat
Oh my
NRG
God.
twice, and Billy were crap this last event. They lost to an ISO.
Right.
Okay.
He's still talking about his take. We can't stop it.
He's
I
still
just wanted
going
to
off
throw
about
that
it.
in.
All right.
All right.
Well, the current scores are 3 points to Wyatt and Bala and 0 points to Ryan. So there is a clear loser at the moment, but there's yet to be a clear winner. Let's change
To be
that
fair,
around.
Ryan is
You
throwing.
can run it back.
Yeah.
You can run it back.
You talk about NA, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. Whatever. Like, it's on
Wyatt.
so late. I can't be bothered.
Wyatt, give me your take.
Okay, so the take is as follows. Paper Rex are going to win Madrid in the finals against NRG. And then after that, NRG are going to win both Shanghai and Champions. So that's NRG in the finals of every tournament this year.
NRG.
Now, to start things off, I think expecting that PaperX could win Madrid, that's not anything crazy, right? I mean, when we're going into the year, we're looking at them and Fnatic. And I've said it a bunch of times, I'm super hyped about Moniette, what he's going to be able to do on this roster. I think he's an absolutely sick, top tier, not even whatever is beyond 1, tier 0.
That's nice, but
player.
why I don't care.
And-
PaperX could be valid. NRG though, come on now, get to NRG.
So-
Yeah, why
okay.
the energy?
So
My dude's
NRG,
staying on PaperX for the whole day. He's like, but you can agree with that, right?
You've got to give us some defendable takes, bro.
No, you
Like,
you can agree, guys.
All
you
of the
can
takes
agree,
I cooked
though.
are defendable.
So PaperX though, come on, they're gonna winning Madrid. That's not crazy, but all right. So then NRG, you've got to think about EG. The casket is it's been lowered into the grave, and we're saying farewell to EG. Right? It's only a matter of time until the players are released. Everybody knows that Ethan and Demon One are going to be going to NRG. So early into the year, you got a stacked roster here. And they're just going to firepower, honeymoon moment their way into the finals by just shooting people in Madrid. But that's not going to be good enough against PaperX. PaperX have had so much time in the offseason with this roster now. They're cooking things up. They have excellent firepower across the board. We can all agree that PaperX could definitely win the tournament of the year.
That's not the problem.
We can all agree on that. Am I did we just all freeze? What happened?
no, we're good.
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
It just
No,
all-
you're
it all
still
just
giving your
froze
take.
for me for a second.
Yo, I froze, by the way.
So
Guys,
then,
was I finished? That was the end, right?
Why?
So-
Did I win?
Can I ask you a
then-
question? It's
Yeah.
one word. Fnatic?
they're going to be good next year, but they're not going to be as. They could be in the. Well, I didn't say. Listen, I didn't say.
Hey, what
who would
about
be,
Loud? What happened to Loud, bro?
I didn't say who would be in the finals against NRG at Shanghai and Champions. It's just
Okay.
that they're going to win both.
save. Good
Because
save.
by that point, they're tactically in
This is
Madrid, they're
bullshit.
not going to be good enough
This
to
is
beat
bullshit.
PaperX.
Cut 'em
But
off.
later in the year,
Bullshit. Cut 'em
later
off.
in the
That's
year,
what music needs to be
later,
played,
Bola,
just to, like-
let me finish.
can
Later
fade him out
in the
if you
year, later in the year, you have to give Chet time to build up Marved or Crashies as the IGL that they could become. And it's a matter of reaching that end point with one of them to replace, what FNS was doing, all that, to really take this team to the next level. They have the talent, they just need the time to work things out, figure out the IGLing situation.
if you started with
and with
that-
the amount of talent they have across the board, they're going to be able to. They're up there with Fnatic. They're up there with PaperX. Those are going to be the teams contesting for the finals. I'm telling you. And PaperX are definitely winning. They're totally a shoe-in to win Madrid. Everybody.
Okay, Ryan, what are you thinking? Wyatt's take or the Cook take?
I'm gonna go that it's not his take.
Arden, what are you
It's-
thinking?
It's fucking bullshit.
Okay,
The only
Wyatt?
way it's not bullshit is he doesn't believe it and he's just making shit up anyways.
Wyatt.
It is my take.
What? Bro! What are you saying? What are you saying?
The red herring of just over-focusing on paper.
That was maximum psychological damage dealt
Jesus
by
Christ.
just focusing on the part that we can all agree on. Of course, PaperX, they could totally win.
That's how you do it. Whose take is worse? Hold on. What's worse? The two China teams in the final champs next year, or NRG winning Shanghai and champions?
They're both very
They're
specific.
both so, I mean...
I thought you were going to say they're both very terrible.
Well, they're not
That's how-
terrible takes necessarily. They're just so specific.
What if both happen? What do we? What
I mean,
happened?
we're geniuses.
Wizards. I think.
Getting lottery tickets.
Oh,
Okay.
Christ
Dude, if
almighty.
NRG makes all 3 finals of the year and then China's in the finals of champs, I don't know what to tell you.
I thought you were going to put something on the line and like bet it.
I've given Ryan a second take.
Oh, ISO will be meta-defining in Game Changers Championship. Well, I've already said this. If it fucking showed up in that SMG game, it would have been. We would all be talking about it.
Oh, so that's all it takes is one game to be meta defining?
I mean, I'd say meta-defining for ISO is not looking dog shit. That's the same for me. And to be fair, I mean, what was the last agent we had before that? Deadlock.
All right,
She's
this
gone.
is bullshit. This is
She went out with
bullshit.
cigarettes and never came back.
This is bullshit. Just off that statement, this has to be bullshit.
I genuinely was impressed with like the ISO that I saw from like tech. Because like the first time we saw it in a pro game,
You just said it was meh, bro. Like 5 minutes ago, you just said it was
I think
eh.
that's all it needs, I think, for people to be on the ISO train is to see it used once. And I think tech worked so that some Game Changers team or in the future could, like Paper X could run with ISO.
Yeah,
and then
Paper X.
that's
Paper X ain't
gonna
playing
be
Game
it.
Changers.
No.
Unlucky bullshit. That's bullshit.
It's nonsense.
All right. Why are you locking it in?
Nothing. Yeah, I'm locking in that it's bullshit is what I'm locking in.
Arden, what are you thinking?
That's bullshit.
Ryan?
It's bullshit.
Nah,
I think I would have
I
been
mean-
fine if it wasn't for Game Changers Championship. As like, if I was talking about it next year, I probably could bullshit some stuff that like Tech did because there were some good ideas there, but he's just a meta defining. I don't think so. Niche and useful and maybe quite surprising. If you had put Gecko there, I would 100% gone in and said like Gecko is the fucking future. I swear in this game. Like I'll go that far, but I think ISO is just like he's all right. Better
Okay.
Deadlock, so that's a start.
Arton, your final take, the final take of the game. You have a
Okay.
chance to be able to tie here and leave Ryan in the dust on 0.
Deadlock is low-key busted, but people aren't willing to give her a try. Ryan, you fucking dickhead coming in.
I'm just taking losses everywhere.
I think this take is true. Deadlock is actually busted, and it came at a perfect time in the game, actually, to try to defeat the insistence on having a dive agent in your pool. And people haven't tried. There's literally 0 times played in an official match, in any off-season match, any offline tournament, any third-party bullshit, any tier 2 crap. We played in Premiere, and it was fucking fire. I will tell you, especially on like a map like Bind, the sound sensors on the drop down where there's like forced sound to come out is really good against teams that are very aggressive, especially like double dives too. Like you could see it on Split, for example. Any of the
My
dive-
man's talking about the sound sensors. I mean, keep going.
All right.
I-
The hand grenade. Have you seen that buff, Wyatt? That shit is fucking good.
Yeah.
now. It's
No, when I
actually
get-
legitimately
no
good.
good when you
When
don't
I get
know
hit
the
with
name
it
of the
in
ability.
TM, I
just
get
the
pissed.
hand
I don't know
grenades.
that because it hasn't been casted, Ryan. I haven't needed to fucking know the name of the ability. It's
I
the
don't know
fucking
the name of the
crouch-
ability.
The
Nobody
crouch
has
grenade.
played it.
Huh?
Like,
I mean, some
I
people
think-
played it in tier 2. I know that Mo played it
I
in
haven't
a
watched that
Sunset
game
game.
because I'm trying to grind to rate in, and every time I play against a Deadlock, they win. By the way, anytime it's on my team,
So,
we're like,
Sean Gaze is playing Deadlock in
and
Immortal
he's
3 right now.
frying, bro. He's shitting on people. Anyways, ranked is
Go on.
irrelevant. I actually genuinely think that this could be a good fit in the current meta as it stands, especially if we start moving like slightly away from double controller, where I think Deadlock like loses a little bit of value because you can't get as much information. But like, I you know, not maybe busted, but like actually viable is maybe something I should say in this.
So, okay. Follow up. I have a question here.
Yep.
Okay. If Deadlock is so busted, or very viable, however you want to phrase it, what is Deadlock replacing in the meta right now, in the meta comps?
There's different ways to go about it, just like Harbor, for example. But I mean, I haven't thought that far, Wyatt.
Okay. That answer makes me believe that this is real.
Wait, that answer makes you believe it's real?
That was too honest, and that was too honest. Yeah.
Wow.
Because if he was lying, he would have weaved a tall tale. but he did not,
What?
which makes me believe
Yeah, but
it's the truth.
you paper X at Madrid, you weaved a long tail and you were telling the truth.
Wait, paper X, that wasn't even the problem. Wait, what?
No,
No, I know,
that's
but
what
he
Ryan's
went
saying.
on about that so much that
Okay.
we
They
thought that he was
convinced
just
Ryan
talking out
that
of
I'm
his
just gonna
ass.
stop talking. Fucking,
All right, Wyatt,
It's real. It's real. It's
You're
real.
looking
It's
in the
real.
real?
It's real. Yep.
Ryan, what are you looking in? This is your first chance at a point.
I've agreed
Brutal.
a deadlock has a future, or I go like 0-5. I'm going 0-5.
Wait, so what is your
Everything's broken down as well.
what is your
we
answer?
go.
Are you saying that this is
I'm going what Wyatt isn't.
you're going that it's
not like I
fake?
disagree with Wyatt. Yeah, I don't think he believes this.
Arden?
real. Like it's bullshit.
Oh, fuck.
I got you.
God
That's
damn
the
it.
I was
only
literally-
win I need.
I was like, bro, I need to come up with something. Was he gonna replace the Sentinels, the double controller? And I was like, wait, I should just not say anything.
Oh, that got you duped me.
I will
You
shout that Anders is
bamboozled
a really
me.
good video talking about like the sort of against double dive, how deadlock, and I think that's good. Like I think her being just a shut down, fast execute teams is good, but like the nade is better at least. The wall's good. The sound sensors, something needs changing about them. But get rid of the ult. The ult isn't fun to play against. It's not fun to play with. It's just like change that for something else. I think that she just needs reworking. But I think the role that she could have in Valorant is one that we do need, but she just doesn't really offer that at the pro level at least. So I think that there's potential for deadlock in the future, but she needs like Yoru rework changes, I think.
Well, the final scores of whose take is it anyway is Wyatt. Well, actually, let me start from the bottom. With 1 point saved in the final round from the goose egg, it's Ryan
Ryan.
Central. Incredible
Thank you.
performance there. Then it's tight at the top. With 4 points, we have Barla, meaning that our winner in the inaugural whose take is it anyway is Wyatt, the bamboozler himself.
What you
You
should
gained
do for
2
the next
juicy
Paper
points for
Rex.
that ridiculous take about Paper X and NRG.
If you have different people on the next episode, get all of the takes that we have and that you've like
Yeah, the real
made up,
takes that we've.
and get like people like Mimi to guess which are real takes and which aren't.
Yeah.
Like just
yeah.
mixed amongst each other.
Yeah, I didn't use
Like,
all
I
of them. Yeah. Okay.
My real take was so good.
Your real tape was
I
good.
would
It was good.
I would.
I'm going to save it for another time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to save
yeah,
it for later. Okay, so just finishing off, we've got a couple more topics before we end the episode. One of which is Detonation Focus Me. We didn't know what they were doing all off season. There weren't even really rumblings from their camp. It was just a lot of who cares kind of stuff because of how bad they were this year, genuinely. And they've acquired the Crazy Raccoon roster in a strategic partnership, which I guess just means we don't know how to scout, so please give us a roster and we'll run it for you and maybe not lose all our games. Is that
was
just what
actually
this is?
That was the actual statement on Twitter. Yeah, like that verbatim.
What is this?
What is this?
Yeah.
Crazy.
An
What's-
amalgamation of talent that were not desired by Zeta Division, but are the next best options.
Does it excite?
I mean, does that sound like an exciting
That'd be
statement
worse.
I just
Yeah.
provided? No. I mean, it's just that I think they will be better than they were last year. I'll say that's the positive note.
Can they be worse?
No, they're going to be better. They're going to be better. And that's, don't give me that
can
glass
be the
half
same.
empty. It's
They can be
glass
the
half
same.
No,
empty.
I
They're
meant,
going to
I
be.
meant genuinely, can they be worse than 0
Oh.
and like 12?
It can.
Well, I
They-
mean, they can't. Literally, they
there's
can't.
3 splits this season, and yeah, I mean, I guess they could lose more.
It'll lose more games.
I think there are more games this year for them to lose. But no, I don't think. I think this is just genuinely better, and potentially one of the only things that they could have done to like go for a Japanese team and like improve. Obviously, last year wasn't really just a full Japanese team, and this year it won't be either because I believe the Jess is still going to be on the roster. I'm not sure who the fuck
Yeah.
is getting
And
swapped
JoJo.
in or out, but either way, like Crazy Raccoon last year they were second best Japanese team in challengers, right? Like, so you would call them the M80, I guess, of Japan. And they were competing pretty good with stars, I guess, for the most part, and the other good teams around in Japan. But
Yeah. it's quite competitive there because you got Fennel as well. Like a lot of big orgs now in Japan, sort of going through there. I wonder if this means that Crazy Raccoon are going to play tier 2
I think I'm
next year. And it's
bullshitting,
some,
actually.
like some like two-way like deal. You know,
I mean,
like
they
we have
came
the
fourth in the
two-player
most
contract.
recent tournament.
Yeah,
But that doesn't
I
mean
think
that they
maybe
weren't
split
second
one
overall. I
when
don't know
something
enough.
was playing. That's like the farthest back I've watched any of the Japanese stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and split one, they came second. Yeah. But, I mean, doesn't this just set them up to be the same thing again, pretty much? If they're not putting effort into scouting a good team, and they're just trying to run it back with a tier 2 squad that wasn't looking like they were able to, you know, go crazy in Ascension or something like that, doesn't it just set them up to, again, just be not just a bad team, but a bad team that no one cares about because the Japanese fans already just have Zeta? It just feels like they don't occupy any niche at all. Like they're not even a team that you would want to root for if you're a Japanese fan because you have a much better Japanese team.
The Crazy Raccoon team was loved in Japan, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I
Just
think they
by the
honestly
order
maybe
and stuff.
overtake Zeta in that regard too.
You
just
think?
because of the Crazy Raccoon goes crazy, bro.
But isn't that the
They're
org or is that the players?
It's the org, but I mean, if
Yeah.
they're partnered, like maybe they just treat him as if they were Crazy Raccoon.
They're not going to overtake Zeta this year, though, because Zeta are going to be a top 10 team in the world, so they're just going to have so much cachet from that alone.
Yeah, okay.
Despite the org being that big, it's just not going to happen. I didn't know this tournament was happening, but I just, because I clicked on Detonation Focus Me on VLR, but on December
Riot
2nd
one?
through 4th, yeah, they're playing in the
Oh,
Riot
but-
Games 1 Pro Invitational.
That's
yeah,
a
but this
troll
tournament
Oh, is
tournament
it
is
troll?
like
Yeah.
it's
Why
the
are
one that
Navi there,
Fnatic
then?
played in last time with DRX
Oh,
and Zeta, where
it's
it was just
that
BO1
one. Okay.
show match games and no
Never
one took it
mind.
seriously.
All right,
I mean,
never
it should be awesome because you've got like Bleed against Na'Vi as the opening match.
I mean, that
But-
should be, but
But it's a
it won't be.
BO1 and I mean, maybe they'll care
There's
about it.
no
Maybe Bleed and
prize
Na'Vi will care
pool.
about it, but there's no prize pool. It's pure show matches. Maybe Bleed will give a shit because it's them showcasing the like changed roster, and Ye and Egoist will really care about turning up on the big stage or something. I don't know, but I hope to God the teams take it seriously because the one last year was a tragedy to watch. It was just a waste of a tournament. Well, it wasn't a waste because the people that attended loved it. It was like it was the tournament that had, what was it, like 16,000 people there or something?
it was huge, yeah.
It was big. I think it might have been
Brad was
13,000.
having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
it
I'm
is
sure
more
it'll
like
be
a
big again.
business deal as well. Like Crazy Raccoon are taking over some aspects of like merchandising and shit like that. So I wonder like what this means for Crazy Raccoons in the future, because I think that come 2025 when the partnership teams could potentially change, like Riot's looking at their options. If you see DFM doing badly and then you see Crazy Raccoon that have been in VALORANT pretty much since the get-go, they have this huge audience, you're probably going to look at wanting to get Crazy Raccoon into your partnered league at that point. So I guess this is DFM literally, if you can't beat them, buy them or like merge the organization somewhat. So yeah, I think I saw something along those lines that it was a bit more like a
Do you have a
mixed
source for
and-
that? Because I can't find
No,
a
I'm
source
talking
for the
about-
strategic partnership.
I might be just gaslighting myself. at this
Source?
point.
I made it up.
It might just be. But like for me to make something up about DFM would require me to care, which isn't really. I think it's probably Reddit. I'm gonna check.
Well, there is. I mean, I'm about to. Everyone in the chat is about to hate me right now. I never run Twitter in light mode, but for some reason, it's just changed to light mode on my PC, and I don't use this website enough to really give a shit to change it back. So, are you ready?
Totally.
3, 2, 1, kabam! You
My
just got
eyes.
blinded.
Blinded.
But yeah, this is Bodog tweeting that DFM announced the acquisition of the roster and then saying they created a strategic business partnership, and Crazy Raccoon will be primarily handling public relations, video creation, online watch parties and events, and sales. Now, this seems like it's the thing that's allowed within the rules where it's a tier 1 team partnering with a tier 2 team. And Riot basically, if you look at the way that it was allowed, just opened the door and said, you can do whatever you like. As long as it's legal and as long as there isn't an ownership stake there, you can have basically whatever kind of strategic partnership you like. Like you can swap players around, you can swap staff around, you can, have them work doing things for you. So it was interesting, or at the time, to speculate about what orgs might do with this. But it looks like Detonation Focus Me were just like, hello, Crazy Raccoon, would you like a spot, but not actually, we own it. But like, would you like to run everything and give us all your players and fans?
Oh, I got a source. It's on the Crazy Raccoon website. I'll link it here. I mean, it might send in Japanese, but I got a translation on Reddit.
Okay.
So,
right.
Crazy Raccoon and DFM have announced that they've signed a comprehensive business partnership agreement to expand the influence of business such as promotions, goods sales, and events with the aim of sustainable business development for both companies in the esports business. They will collaborate on all aspects of influence of business expansion, mainly in DFM's VALORANT division, such as public relations, video creations, online watch parties and events, and goods productions and sales by leveraging our respective know-how and existing assets. So I think it's almost like they're going to be using Crazy Raccoon as like a academy team almost, and that like they're going to try and prop DFM's VALORANT sign up. But again, that's my source from Reddit, so take that as you will.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, this is on the Crazy Raccoon website, so it makes sense as well. But this is listing how much capital they have as well. I mean, this is listing the Detonation company as having 10 million yen in capital, and Samurai Kobo Co. is having 1,000 million yen as well. There you go.
I can't see shit there, so all good.
How much yen does the Plat Corporation have?
At least 10. Like, I didn't look really closely, but I think we have at least 10, yeah. How much is a yen?
That's 0.068 United States dollar.
We do
That's
have
actually, that's more than I expected for the Plat Corporation, actually.
Any members? Any members?
By 0.068, fascinatingly enough.
All right, let's get on to the next topic, which I think is going to be a fairly short one, which is that Gen.G made a signing. We haven't talked about Gen.G a ton,
really?
I don't think, on the podcast.
I didn't see this at all.
Yep, they signed Karon. Don't you know Karon?
Yeah, she lives next door.
I know a Karon.
Wyatt, you don't know Karon? Can we get some green squares in the chat? He doesn't know Karon. Have you not watched all of Karon's games?
From Team No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's from No.
The last time my brother Karon played was, which is the third month?
March
March of this year. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it
dropping
looks
some
like
reasonable numbers.
He's a Sentinel duelist player. I assume he's come through open trials for them. I don't know that for a fact.
Right.
People in my Twitch chat were saying, again, this is just horrendous secondhand information. Was saying that the Gen.G guys were saying that he was cracked, that they'd like tried him out and they thought he was an upcoming talent, but could be complete bullshit that I'm just spreading.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm down to see some new talent and not just kind of recycle a lot of the players in the region that have not been able to crack to the tier.
Well, can I interest you in the rest of the roster, which is all recycled talent that haven't been able to reach the top tier?
And they're all called Kim.
I'm interested.
Kim. I mean, they have the
Tell me about
surname
them, Josh.
Kim. You want to know about them? Well, Lakia got benched for a long time after looking promising when they came third in the first ever LAN, and then everyone on that team basically died the death, and we've never seen Lakia perform at a top level since then, so who knows how he's going to be. Tech's just a genuinely really good player. Meteor overheats like crazy. They have 10 duelist players on the roster, despite only having 5 players, and Munchkin is, I assume, going to be their IGL, who has always looked terrible in every game that every team that he's IGL'd, but did actually look good fairly recently when he got the IGL responsibilities taken away from him. So all in all, you know, some people were pretty high on this roster, but I would say they've burnt the shrimp.
Well, Josh, why should I be excited about this team?
Oh, I didn't say that. I mean, they have. You could be excited about them, couldn't you? Because you could be excited about how good Texture is, how flashy and aggressive Meteor is. If you're a fan of Valorant back from the old days, you might be excited that Lakia is going to be playing in VCT. And then if your name is Karon, you might really like Karon.
Or Kim.
Now, I
believe in a Kim possible.
I'm gonna hearken us back to one of possibly one of my worst predictions of all time, which is that Northeption were gonna be really good in Copenhagen. I don't know if y'all remember that one. That is in my top 3 worst predictions ever in this game.
What are the others? Out of curiosity. What are the other ones that spring to mind?
Vikings at Reykjavik.
That wasn't a bad. Yeah, that was. We were just a bit overhyped.
There was no way to tell. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take that one out.
G2 goes in.
What was the prediction on that?
I don't know. We put him 5th in our power ranking or something.
Yeah, that was that was not good.
I mean, you're about to get one with SMG.
No, oh yeah.
Zeta Division being a top 10
good
team.
One, buddy. Also good one. I can't believe, I don't understand how people's flabbers are fucking gasted at what I'm saying about Zeta. It's the most straightforward 2 + 2 = 4 logic. I swear to God. It's driving me insane.
You also said that QCK would be the best pickup for Americas?
That's
and
true.
he will be, because Loud are going to be the top team in Americas again. Everyone's always doubting Loud except for me. But here's what I'm going to say. Why am I talking about Zeta Division? We
got him again, guys. We got him again.
That's the DFM problem. We talk about DFM and end up talking about Zeta Division. We'd just rather do that.
We're not even talking about DFM. We're talking about
What are we talking about? Oh,
you were talking about
Gen.G.
Lakia. You were talking about Northeption, and then you went on
I
to
was talking about
Zeta.
Meteor. I was talking about Meteor. No, so, okay. One of the reasons I was excited about Northeption back in Copenhagen was because Meteor looked like an outrageous talent in the region. And then from that point, just has not developed in the game sense department at all.
Yeah.
It's just all year with Gen.G in 2023, just over and over, you're watching these site execs where he's putting himself in a position where he's 40 meters ahead of the rest of his team. No one can help him. He can't slow down. He can't find a good timing when he's actually hitting a site to play off of his teammates entering the site behind him, finding a good timing to pop out of his jet smoke. It's just fucking go, go, go all the time. And it was driving me nuts because the mechanics are there, but there's a million players at this point that are playing duelists that have sick mechanics. Like, we're not in the, maybe, you know, in the past.
I mean, on his
that was
team
more
as
impressive.
well.
But it's like
texture.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, the raw talent was there, but it has not been in this past year with Gen.G. It's just not been you know, whatever, you know, I'm trying to find the words for basically honed into being a well-rounded player. That just has not come to fruition. And I do rate texture super high, but yeah, it just
Lakia was also playing on.
I can't get excited.
Lakia was playing on this D+ esports team this year, who I didn't watch a ton of, but I watched a bit of them when they played in Pacific Ascension, and they looked really quite disappointing for the roster that they had. I mean, you look at the roster that they were playing with. They went out in the group stage. They didn't even make it through to playoffs. But their roster had Allow on it, who's been good in the past, Lakia, Esperanza, like some decent players here. And they weren't able to really get anything going. And they ended up...
Esperanza went to RRQ, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Pacific's going to be weird this year.
Although it doesn't...
I can't tell where they're going to be as a region.
RRQ? Didn't he get announced to RRQ? I swear that was like an actual announcement that happened.
Pretty sure.
Oh no, it's Estrella, sorry. It's the other guy from D+.
Another loss for Ryan this episode.
You convinced me as well.
Well, the real question is, could DFM beat Gen.G?
That's like, who is, if it's not DFM, who's going to be the worst team? Like, because we were talking about that before with like Talon. Like,
oh my god,
there's going to be a real toilet bowl. I think global. Like, there's going to be a lot of teams that I don't know if they've made upgrades or not. I think everybody in EMEA has upgraded some aspects. Like, can't be much worse than it was last year.
Surely,
Hopefully not.
Global have. I think I don't have faith in this global roster. I really liked their team last season. I would have liked them to kind of keep trying to build off that. But
they're saying that they're benching Lightning Fast as well. They said that Lightning Fast. Oh, there was a report. Sorry,
already
there was a report that Lightning Fast is going to be playing his last tournament at the Indian tournament that's coming up. I can't remember what it's called. Convergence.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the source for that though. Where was the? Let me see if I can find a source
I think it was
for that.
Tweet. I mean, it's also probably on Reddit because
I didn't see that, but
quick.
Regardless, I
just like Gen.G,
I'm struggling out here. About what? Global?
No, about the toilet bowl Pacific.
Oh. I think Dead Nation are going to get a win this season, though. They're going to win a match.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're winning a match.
That's what to put with the other ones for the quiz next week. They're going to get a win.
No, they've got some teams. There's definitely some teams they could beat, for sure. They could be global. Maybe Gen.G. I don't know. Listen, guys, I'm spitballing over here. I'm trying to build some hope up. I hope they can beat T1.
I think the
T1
source
for
for
the love
that.
of God.
I think the source for that benching Lightning Fast might have been unreliable. I'm not 100% because when I looked it back up, it's somebody that I do not know their track record in the slightest. It's like, cartoon avatar. I've never really. I don't recognize their name. They Twitter bio says not a Valorant reporter. so I'm not sure about that one. I think that might just be bullshit that I'm spreading out into the world. So we'll retcon that I ever said that.
God, this episode we've made some bullshit up. This episode we've had some crazy.
We literally spread lies during a segment that was like about spreading lies.
Speaking of lies, I saw people retweeting a fake like rumor, which was that Nisa was going to get signed to SK Gaming.
I saw that,
and people like ate that shit up quickly.
I felt for that
like,
shit.
Have we like lost the plot? Like it just feels like we've gone into like a weird direction.
You know why we've lost the plot? Because there's so many just anonymized leaker people that are
horrible
trying to like operate within the Valorant off-season space, and even the people that are doing things with a better track record aren't working for a publication that is, a lot of the people that have the better track record are not, it's not like we're going to a website to go and find the sources. They're just getting pulled from people's tweets and posted to Reddit, and they're not being filtered by how reliable
Twitter being monetized has done irreparable damage to Valorant journalism.
That's it. That was the target.
That's a side effect of that. It's just 24/7 nonsense.
It might be the only thing that gets Valorant journalism paid down the line, though, because ain't nobody paying these fuckers either. So unlucky.
I mean, that is
we
true.
need our hero George Geddes to come back.
Oh goodness me, do we? do I don't think we do.
Falling for Nissan tweet.
All right, that's Ryan's bullshit take. I call bullshit on that one.
That's a cool
I'm getting another point.
All right. Just for all of this, there's just Bodog that's just trying to get by. Like he's living on a farm, just for the quiet life.
Yeah, but also
keep the light on.
If we're going to talk about journalism pieces for reputable websites, there was this report by Cecilia Chicochetti. I'm probably butchering their name there, but it was that the Riot Games Arena is going to become the new epicenter of the EMEA competition in 2024, and it's not going to be the Coliseum anymore. The Coliseum was definitely the best stage that we had last year, like hands down. I work on the America show. I love the America show. Listen, I think we had a better show, but they had a better stadium. They had a better stage look and a feel, and the audience felt like they were like part of it and in there and right over the top of their team, like getting involved the whole time. So I love that. It's a bit gutting that they're not going to be using it in the future.
Yeah, this was announced as well. Like Riot tweeted out and they showed like them moving like the LEC studio around and making some space. They also said that like Daniel Ringland, who's like basically Mr. EMEA, was saying that they had the concept of the Coliseum they were working on since 2020, and they were like they've done it for a year and then they're fucking scrapping it, going like elsewhere. Which
that's bizarre.
To me is a shame. Maybe they can make the Coliseum work like in the new space, but this isn't too surprising for me because the Coliseum was done out of like the Metz Berlin, which is like right in the center of Berlin. The whole like it's just this sort of like big network station thing. Like you had to like basically call it out as a sponsor at the start of every show, like we're live from the Messe Berlin, because they were effectively a sponsor as well. So it's not a surprise for me that Riot would want to move it to somewhere where they already probably own it. and they could just have everything work out there. And then you've got like the strikers like area in Dublin, which they said sort of allows that they can do LEC and VCT at the same time without everything basically catching on fire and it being a logistical mess. So
Oh, really? LEC and VCT at the
I
same
think
time
that's
from the
what it
same
says like,
studio. That's
in
great.
the article. Yeah, I mean that's the good thing about like having Striker overall, because a lot of the stuff that we had this year was done from Striker too.
I
There's
mean,
a lot of
I'm
people that used to
assuming
work there.
they mean like at the same time, as in like running the leagues parallel in the same venue.
Yeah, the broadcasts same time kind of thing. But I don't know
wow.
how likely that is. That's just said that there was something that they were keen to be able to do. I guess if they needed to.
Yeah. Anyways, shame, because I think the Coliseum is good, but also if it brings costs down, I think that's probably good as well. Even though it might not bring the same level of prestige as playing at the Coliseum. It's sad, but I think probably they might have gone a little too far overboard, both on the Pacific side and the EMEA side, and they might have to scale back. And it's good that they're able to make a decision like that. And I'm not going to pretend to know the business side of things, but ostensibly, like, it makes sense for them to,
Yeah.
you know, bite the bullet now.
Yeah, I can't see anything about it saying that they're going to run these things concurrently. It does say that the venue is going to host League of Legends, LEC, and VCT with a full audience, and it says it'll have the ability to concurrently host other EMEA esports events remotely. So stuff that would be held online, like Ascension, Game Changers,
will get a lot.
EMEA Masters, which is, I mean, what is EMEA Masters?
It's the league regional tournament that happens.
Ah, right. Okay.
Like
I
the
thought they were
EPLs?
referring to like
It's
an
like-
EMEA, like a VCT Masters event happening
No,
in
no,
EMEA.
it's like all the challengers league, the regional leagues in the league scene, they all join and
Right.
end up playing like a Ascension tournament that doesn't qualify you for franchising.
When the Carmine Court Arena gets built, can we just run a week out of the Carmine Court Arena?
Absolutely.
Shit would be
Please.
dope. It'd be so good. Like Carmine Court just play their home and away games for that week.
I mean, honestly, that sort of stuff is like the way that you end up actually caring about like broadcast rights and like getting away from having Riot do every single broadcast and blah blah blah. Like obviously they're going to still want control, but like that stuff is very attractive to me down the line.
They have arenas like that in China as well. Like EDG have their own like arena that they do stuff from. JDG have their own like actual like football stadium arena size stuff. Like not just a kind of like
Which is what the
like-
Carmine Court thing is also.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, hopefully, cross your fingers, Josh, that
Time
you could get to
for-
co-stream in front of France.
Time
Yeah.
for Valorant to implement homestands.
Mm.
It was
Yes.
the perfect model for the Overwatch League.
It worked
Back
so
to
well.
That's
London,
how
for
it
there
you.
should
we
do
go.
Speaking of models, let's also get models and Benzes next to all the players.
Yeah. I'm not going to be happy until every player has a model on their hip. Let me just throw up there, Nate. Okay. Final
Jesus.
segment. The most
EDG
important
got
segment.
around against Shopify.
Oh, PogChamp.
Dude, people
Give it to him. Give
I'm
him
not
the
gonna lie.
award.
This just has nothing to do with nothing, but like, holy shit. This is like also just obviously, but like, god damn, some people are this is shocking what I'm about to say, but some people type in Twitch chat and they don't know what they're talking about. And I can't believe that. I just
Mate,
can't believe it.
I'm on this broadcast and I don't know what I'm talking about. You can't be surprised that Twitch chat is the same.
Like a player with a sheriff purposefully died to the spike, as to like not carry that over into the next round. And people in the chat are like spamming question marks, like, what, died to the spike? I'm like, dude, you have to be. Okay,
I think
Why?
you might
I
have
just-
been whooshed there as well, though, because
Yeah,
that's a
you just
meme from
whooshed.
Sliggy's channel.
And
No,
Tarek's
there's no.
channel
I'm
and
not.
everybody's
no,
channel ever.
No.
It's just baiting reactions.
No. I could tell this was legitimate. What I was witnessing. This was not the Sliggy channel moment.
I think you should whisper them. You should find out who did it and whisper them. on
Whisper
Twitch.
them.
Like, bro, are you for real?
They also went up 7-1, and I assume everyone was atting Desviz as well. I haven't looked in the Twitch chat. Should I open the Twitch chat and we'll see what hive
Don't
of scum
open,
and villainy
please
is
don't
there?
open the Game
Wait,
Changers Twitch
in
chat.
who? Oh
Yeah, that does
don't
sound
do that.
dreadful, actually, doesn't it? Yeah.
Just-
Okay.
We can
it
just
is-
co-stream. We've
I
got
don't think we
enough.
can. I think we need
The
permission.
Platjet co-streams are. No, we don't.
For this, I think you have to actually like sign something.
No, we don't.
This is what you're just gonna do for the Afreeca.
They can't get rid of us. We're the scene. We are Valorant esports.
Okay, Wyatt's
They can't
ego's
get
getting
rid of
out
us.
of control.
Yeah,
we need to
that's
shut
what
him
the
down.
game changer scene
Holy crap.
needs is four white men talking
White?
about.
Right.
Sorry, it was a generalization.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Jesus
back.
Christ.
Yeah.
That just reminded me of that tweet that fucking Alice posted of just everyone on Platchat like yassified, or if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I
Yes.
do. I'm gonna send it to
And-
The yassification of Plat chat.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god. That fucking killed me.
I don't think
Oh.
I can find it.
I just linked it to
That's
you
a
in
shame.
Discord.
Oh, did you? Oh, incredible. All right, let me bring this up.
It's just.
I mean,
Just look at Bala. Oh my god.
what has it done to Mimi?
Oh,
It just.
what the fuck, man?
This is such an obvious example of an AI that only got trained on, like, I don't know what it got trained on because there's no humans that look like this, but it must have been just.
You haven't been to the Jersey Shore. Holy shit.
No one's got
so-
a chin like that. It has its own gravitational pull, that thing.
There's a comment somewhere on there that I saw that just absolutely killed me. That was like, someone said like it turned Bala TW into Baller TW, and that fucking killed me. Oh my lord. All right.
Okay, it is
I've had
time
enough.
though for the
I have
most
to bring
important
Brent to
segment
the
of the week.
airport.
Yeah, it's time for the most important segment of the week. It doesn't have the wipe on it though. For some reason, Kurt gave me a version of this that doesn't have the like magical wipe.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to do an intro, Wyatt? Just like a
No.
diddle-diddle?
Oh, okay, yeah. It's the weekly. I could get one from. No, I can't go all the way downstairs to get one. It's the weekly award, the last segment of the show, and we're back to making it matter. And by that I mean I'm not getting paid off, and no one got married this week or had a child.
Sorry. When I said it didn't have the intro, it just doesn't have the wipe. We still get the funny video.
Oh,
was gonna
that's
say,
fine.
this
It's
is
too
very-
late
Welcome to
already.
Wyatt's Weekly Award. Or
It's
should I
going.
say reward, because this week the winner gets to choose their prize. A banana,
Oh.
a wireless Dyson vacuum, a television. I don't have an outro.
Did that play audio?
It didn't for me.
It played
It
audio to
didn't
the
for me.
stream, but it doesn't play audio
please.
to you guys.
Also,
I was
I
gonna say-
can't get rid of that Dyson. That's actually my prized possession. And I needed to clean my new place and all that. So that, you can't get the Dyson.
Payberx just, I don't know why I'm in chat. Sorry, why. Payberx just type. Could you guys find at least a newer picture of Forsaken for thumbnail next time? He won't stop complaining to us.
I mean, I also
the
put it
thumbnail?
through an AI filter to like upscale it. And normally Kurt just
yassify it.
well, not to yassify it, but it kind of accidentally does that. I put it through the AI filter after the thumbnail had been created. Kurt puts it through just he just puts us through to upscale them. I put the entire thing through, so it also like modified Forsaken and Tens and the Game Changers players as well. So I was looking at it, it's like giving them an airbrushing as well. It's just turned them into these like completely perfect complexion people in the thumbnail. So Forsaken looked worse than that. That's what I'm saying. Take that back to him.
I mean, he does have a great skincare routine regardless.
Yeah.
Kind of,
I look high as fuck in the thumbnail. So I'm all for it.
Look what they
I'm
did to
just
me.
like-
I mean, you might be high as fuck.
Yeah, with the takes that we've heard.
some of these takes just so China. Right.
Who's the Wyatt's Weekly Award going to?
I'm giving the weekly award to the big guy, BCJ, for getting signed over to M80. My man deserved to be on a solid team for the longest time. Consistently has proved himself as a fantastic player. was, you know, had some unfortunate circumstances with this year with the makeup of that original EG roster, and I don't think that it was in any way a reflection of his skill level. And I'm just excited to see him on a solid team here. And it's also just cool to see M80 that they're going to continue competing, that a bit of their, you know, not even a bit of, 3 of their core have stuck together to play in this next season, and BCJ is just a fantastic addition to bring in to replace EU, who's gone to 100 Thieves. So I'm just excited to see more of him. I'm glad he's found himself onto a solid team, and a team that looks like they're hey, that's me, onto a team that's going to be able to, you know, not just contest, but like definitely a favorite to
Should be favorites.
win. Yeah, the favorite to win and actually move up next season. But yeah, just glad to see him on a solid team. Well deserved. The big guy is back.
Yeah,
He was a
very,
custom
very
license plate.
deserved. Well then, that does it for...
Well, Josh, you're the host.
Yeah, that does it. Dude, I'm also the producer. I'm trying to pull up like all sorts of different things. Dude, Ryan just sent me this thing. Next year we will be seeing VCT team capsules. What the hell are you... What is this?
Bro, where's the breaking news bumper, bro? What are you doing, man?
Shit,
Josh,
sorry.
pull up the
Hold on,
breaking
I
news
got it.
bumper.
Breaking news. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, let me just get my breaking news image as well. Go on, you talk about it. You talk about it while I pull up the breaking news.
Next year, we'll be seeing VCT team capsules. Each team will be receiving their own capsule, small bundle, with each capsule including a classic skin, player card, and more that showcases the team. This can possibly change, but what currently seems to be. Cool. Cool story, bro.
Well, the other reason why I leaked it is because it is just like oh, that's nice. Like, there's not too much else to add, because we knew that some like other kinds of like revenue options for teams were coming in, and this seems just like a pretty standard thing. And yeah, Tarek's now there too.
Money, money, money. Hey, we're all turning into Tarek if we get these Plat Chat VCT team capsules. Let's go!
All right, well, that does it for us. I've given up producing this episode by the look of things.
I think you did great. And by great,
I was gonna
passable.
finger my...
It didn't burn.
Dude, right, it's definitely time to
This
get
guy
going. Right,
is
bye,
just
everybody.
Out of control.
Bye, everybody. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for coming on, Ryan. Bye.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, my God.